Good morning and welcome to day 2 of the May Board of Governors meeting. To access the Board of Governors meeting agenda, please visit our website at www.cccco.edu and go to the About Us tab drop-down menu. From there, click the Board of Governors, then Meeting Schedule, Minutes, and Agenda, and select the blue agenda hyperlink. As a reminder, closed caption is available. Click the CC icon at the bottom of the screen labeled closed caption to read live captions. Members of the public wishing to comment on an agenda item may use the raise hand feature to make a verbal public comment to the board. A member of the Chancellor's office will announce your name and grant you the ability to speak. You are requested to identify yourself and present your public comment at that time. President Haynes, today is May 25th, 2021. Would you like me to begin roll call?
Yes, please.
I will now begin roll call. Hildegard B. Aguinaldo.
Present.
Darius W. Anderson.
Here.
Amy M. Costa. Tom Epstein.
Here.
Felicia Escobar Carrillo. Cullum Fitzgerald.
Here.
Jolena M. Grande.
Here.
Pamela Haynes.
Here.
Kevin J. Hall.
Here.
Lieutenant Governor Eleni Kounalakis. Jennifer L. Perry. Bill Rawlings.
Present.
Valerie L. Shaw. Yulia Tarasova.
Present.
Blas Villalobos.
Here.
Joseph R. Williams. President Haynes, quorum is established.
Thank you so much. So I'd like to welcome everyone to our second day. I'm so very glad that you could join us. And our first item on today's agenda is 6.3. It's one of my favorite items because it's recognizing the wonderful work that happens on our community college campuses. It is the 2021 Classified Employee of the Year Awards. And if you've had a moment to look at the agenda and just read the very short bios of these wonderful individuals, you will know that I'm right about the caliber of employee, the caliber of staff that we have on our campuses. So with that, I'm going to have Chancellor Oakley begin to present this item.
Thank you, Board President Haynes, and good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to begin this morning's meeting with a recognition of the amazing classified employees in the California community colleges. They are such an important part of the Vision for Success, and we have the opportunity to recognize a few of our outstanding classified members today. The Classified Employee of the Year Award has been given out annually since May of 2009 to honor community college classified employees who demonstrate the highest level of commitment to professionalism and community colleges. This year, the submissions process required that the submissions identify how the nominee contributes to the Vision for Success goals and in their local communities. The recipients are nominated by members of their college campus or the district community and are endorsed by their local board of trustees. The award nominations are reviewed by representatives of the Board of Governors, the Chancellor's Office staff, and classified representatives on the Consultation Council. The recipients are selected for their commitment and for their outstanding performance. And this year's recipients, this year's nominees really exemplify the commitment that the classified employees make to our community college system. This year we had 13 nominations representing 13 districts. I want to thank our classified staff statewide for their outstanding work and their amazing commitment to our students and everything that they do, particularly over this last year, to keep our colleges going. This year, announcing the 2021 Classified Employee of the Year Award winners is my favorite classified staff member on the Board of Governors, an outstanding member of the classified staff himself, Board of Governors member, Bill Rawlings. Bill, I'll turn it over to you.
All right. Thank you, Chancellor Oakley. And this is one of my favorite events as well. And this year is particularly poignant, I think, because of the year that we've had. And I know that these award recipients this year are just an example of the great work going on out in the field, because I've seen so much of that work going on. So on behalf of the review committee, I'm excited to honor our 5 incredible classified employees. I'll introduce all 5 winners, and then after your introduction, we'll welcome you to say a few words if you'd like. So with no further ado, the 2021 Board of Governors Classified Employee of the Year Award winners are Allison Vera, Los Angeles Valley College. Allison Vera's roots are deep with over 18 years of experience. Allison's role is critical in supporting student success as the CalWORKs coordinator at Los Angeles Valley College. Her dedication towards serving the CalWORKs student body results in students achieving self-sufficiency by completing their academic goals, transferring to four-year programs, developing personal and career goals, and placing students in jobs that lead to financial stability. Allison demonstrates a strong commitment to serving LA Valley College's diverse student population through her collaboration with on-campus programs such as EOPS, CARE, TRIO, DACA, and Umoja by developing best practices for students to receive services and the latest resources. For the last 8 years, Allison volunteers to design, implement, and create 3 fundraising events for LA Valley College homeless students. Her mentorship goes beyond assisting students, though. She mentors and encourages CalWORK staff to continue their educational and career paths. She frequently takes staff for lunch or coffee breaks to inspire them to continue their professional and personal objectives. Her achievements in life as a mother of 4 children, working full-time, completing her master's degree, and volunteering in the community are examples for staff and students alike. Allison's positive outlook and life mission continuously influence everyone around her to reach their highest potential, increase their motivation, and inspire them to always take steps towards reaching their ultimate goals. Congratulations, Allison. And is Allison with us? She is.
Yes, I am.
Hi, Allison.
Hi, I thought we were going to go afterwards, but thank you, Board President Haynes, Member Rawlings, members of the board, and Chancellor Oakley for this great honor. I've been a part of this wonderful community starting many years ago as a CalWORK student worker, earning my degrees and becoming a proud classified worker for over 20 years. I've been a part of this wonderful community. The community college system was an intricate part of my career development, as it is a lifeline for many students, especially those that are at a disadvantage. I read my nomination packet and I truly cannot accept this award alone. I share it with my fellow colleagues, my director, CalWORK staff, faculty, and administrators at Los Angeles Valley College. I've been privileged to work with supportive administrators who share in our deep passions to assist those in need. We at LAVC saw a need on our campus to assist students experiencing homelessness and food insecurities. We came together as a village and created the Helping Hands Project Fund through our college foundation. We volunteered our time and gave what we could. We held fundraisers, wrote grants, and took turns collecting food and donations. I have to also acknowledge our community residents who was introduced to us while out walking their dogs and followed the smell of carne asada during one of our fundraisers. These community residents became regular monthly donors, committee members, and valued mentors to our students. We raised thousands of dollars together for our students to assist them in their path out of homelessness, earn their degree, and transfer. It is a truly collaborative effort. I absolutely love the quote by Confucius, "Choose a job you love and you will always have, and you will never have to work a day in your life." I think the quote best describes our village at Los Angeles Valley College. We love what we do. We strive for service to others and are always motivated to do more. We are a wonderful community, and I accept this acknowledgement together with my colleagues at LAVC. Thank you.
Wonderful. Congratulations. Next, we have Sylvia Gonzalez from Yuba College. Sylvia Gonzalez has over 15 years of dedicated experience as EOPS Care Program Specialist for over 20,000 Yuba College students. Sylvia's commitment to going above and beyond for Yuba College students leads to a 75% persistence rate for EOPS students and an 88% persistence rate for their care students, with over 30% of Yuba College graduates being EOPS or care students each year. Sylvia has a knack for bringing out the best in students and helping them utilize their strengths. Her dedication and passion in serving first-generation, low-income, educationally disadvantaged, single parents, foster youth, disabled students, and undocumented students is amazing. Sylvia has been nominated by hundreds of graduating students for the Yuba College Way to Go Award year after year for over 10 years in a row. Sylvia leaves a lasting impression on students and in the community and demonstrates compassion, commitment, and joy through her work with students at Yuba College, along with the greater Yuba Sutter community. Students come back or call asking for her years later after graduating, transferring, and leaving the Yuba Sutter area to thank her for where they are today. Congratulations, Sylvia.
Thank you so much, board members. I just want to say how honored I am to receive this incredible award. It is reassuring to know that 15 years worth of hard work has paid off. I want to thank my husband, Jerry, and my children for all the love and support they gave me through these years and for pushing me to continue with my education. I also want to thank my boss, Annabelle Toche, for believing in me and for affirming that I do make a difference in my student lives. And I can't forget my EOPS family for their support and for being a great team to work with. We all go above and beyond for our students. And most importantly, I would like to thank my students for trusting in me to be part of their journey and their success. It is always so rewarding to see my students achieve their goals and dreams and to see them give back to the community in their chosen fields. This program is near and dear to my heart. I know the benefits of this program firsthand as I was an EOPS student myself. Like they say, once EOPS, always an EOPS. Sí se puede. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for the impact you're making on our students.
Thank you.
Next, we have Linda Olmos, Long Beach City College. Linda is a direct support for many equity initiatives that align with the vision for success at Long Beach City College. As a specialist in the Student Equity Office, Linda is instrumental in the design and operationalization of various programmatic components of the Long Beach City College Justice Scholars Program for criminal justice systems impacted and formerly incarcerated students. In Linda's role as a key staff member that supports criminal justice systems impacted students, she initiated a partnership with OC Respite to provide a professional development opportunity free of cost to LBCC staff and faculty on the importance of creating trauma-informed environments. As an active leader, Linda created Chisme in the Kitchen, which is a virtual cooking demonstration that shows students how to make healthy meals from the groceries they receive through the grab-and-go food pantry at LBCC. Linda leans into her work with great passion and demonstrates a commitment to excellence, shown leadership, and a deep understanding of the importance of partnership and collaboration in making true change. Linda's work is timely, responsive, and most importantly, aligned with the essential needs of many of LBCC's most impacted student populations as she provides support services to diverse communities and always puts student first. Congratulations, Linda.
First, thank you to Chancellor Oakley, the Board of Governors, and Selection Committee for this award. I am truly honored to be here alongside my colleagues, Allison, Sylvia, Amy, and Demetria. This last year, our students and staff have faced many obstacles because of COVID-19. Today, you are given a glimpse at the incredible and innovative work that classified staff contribute to the community college system. I share this award with my Viking colleagues who have gone above and beyond the call of duty. A special shout out to the JSP team, technology team, facilities, basic needs, emergency aid, and parking services for their on-campus collaborations and efforts in keeping our students safe. I am so grateful to also work with and have the support of campus leadership, Dr. Mike Munoz, Dr. Noel Corral, and Dean Sonia de la Torre. You have fostered and championed my professional and educational journeys at Long Beach City College. I am a product of the California Community College system, a first-generation immigrant and a first-generation college-going Chicana. I use this moment of privilege to highlight who I am and where I come from because we need to see more folks of color be supported, recognized, and respected. Having a diverse staff that look like our students and come from the same communities is critical to our growth as a system and a key ingredient in creating an inclusive campus environment. Now, this wouldn't be a 2-minute speech without thanking my parents. Last but not least, dedico este momento a mi papá y a mi mamá. Ustedes son y siempre serán mi razón para luchar por más. Again, thank you so much for this award and your time.
Thank you, Linda. Congratulations. Next, we have Amy Hunter from Irvine Valley College. Amy Hunter is the embodiment of Irvine Valley College's mission to provide a well-rounded, quality educational program and experience. She is involved in a number of important initiatives on campus that include diversity, equity, inclusion training, guided pathways, caring campus, and her role as classified Senate president. Amy is active with the IBC Foundation as a board member and actively engages with fundraising for the college. Amy's initiative in leading by example is demonstrated with her role in Caring Campus, where she recruited a large number of classified professionals to champion Caring Campus and was highlighted in statewide and national forums for her and the college's exemplary work on Caring Campus for their guided pathways efforts and critical work in helping students stay on their educational paths. Amy's excellent shepherding of this program has been key to its success at Irvine Valley College. Her work and interactions with others around the community reflect the IVC mission as she seeks to lead by example in all that she does. Amy's high energy is her trademark. Amy represents classified professionals in an excellent manner with her well-rounded attitude, optimism, and professionalism. Congratulations, Amy.
Thank you, Member Bill Rawlings. Good morning, Board of Governors, President Haynes, Vice President Costa, members of the Board of Governors, Chancellor Oakley, Deputy Chancellor Dr. Daisy Gonzalez, the California Community College community and public attending today's meeting. My sincere and humble thanks for this incredible honor to be named one of several California Community College Classified of the Year recipients, recognizing my high level of commitment and care in all that I do and every day for our students, faculty, administration, for the amazing classified professionals, which I am so very proud to be a part of, from across my 2 college districts and my local college, Irvine Valley College, and our district, South Orange County Community College District. I have a deep appreciation in receiving this award, as it has a lot of heartfelt significance to me. The California Community College website homepage says, "Change your life." When I sought out employment opportunity where I could prove my talents to make a difference in the lives of students in the community I live in, I found it in the California Community College system, specifically with the 2 college, South Orange County Community College District with Irvine Valley College. It is my sincere hope that my work over the years has made a difference in the lives of others, but it has made a profound difference in mine as well. Working alongside so many committed colleagues who have taken the time to provide such care and guidance. I am truly grateful for the opportunities where I have made a positive, caring impact for students and colleagues in my roles as starting with a box office assistant at Saddleback College Fine Arts with some stellar colleagues to now as a senior administrative assistant, classified professional in instructional division of business sciences with amazing faculty under the incredible leadership of Dean Tracy Fahimi and past deans, including Kathleen Greiner and David Gatewood. It is under the role as a classified leader as IVC's classified Senate president during the past 2 years that I am deeply fortunate and thankful, where I have championed many initiatives, including a successful student success effort, IABC's Caring Campus, during a very challenging 15 months, representing hundreds of classified in shared governance and bringing opportunities for our classified to participate. None of this could be possible without the amazing care and championing of our classified along the way. I'm sincerely thankful for our district chancellor, Kathleen Burke, and our board of trustees led by President Marcia Milchecker, our district vice chancellors, Dr. Cindy Viscachill, Anne-Marie Gable, and Dr. Robert Bernucci, and our district services staff, our Irvine Valley College president, Dr. John Hernandez, Irvine Valley College vice presidents, Dr. Martha McDonald, Dr. Chris McDonald, and David Katatrian, our shared governance leaders, June McLaughlin in Academic Senate, Brianna Ross and ASIVC president, also our college managers who have supported our classifieds' amazing work this year in serving their leadership and student success, our CSEA Chapter 586 president, Scott Ferguson Green, for our coordinator leadership efforts, Our classified Senate officers who have shown so much compassion, commitment, and dedication to me and all of our classified represent for so many who are working so hard for our students, led by our executive cabinet. Our amazing classified 4CS leadership, and last but not least, my parents, my husband who's been my rock, and my church family. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amy. And I would just throw in a note here that after this year, having the principles and practices that Caring Campus presents is going to be essential for our students moving forward. So thank you for getting that started there. Next, we have Demetria Lawrence, Contra Costa College. Demetria Lawrence is a knowledgeable force in Contra Costa College with over 16 years experience and has true compassion towards all. Her colleagues describe Demetria as their reminder of how we should all approach students and colleagues. Demetria's role as the adult and alternative education transition specialist has her interacting with her community's most impacted residents in an effort to support their post-secondary and career fulfillment goals. As a key leader in the California Adult Education Program Consortium, Demetria exemplifies the 7 core commitments outlined in the Vision for Success. Demetria is consistently sought after across Contra Costa College's sister colleges and county as an expert and voice of reason in matters related to data and accountability, successful engagement strategies, and administrative processes related to WIOA, college applications, and enrollment. She is committed to being a resource for students district-wide. Demetria is individually responsible for Contra Costa College's continued participation in the Bay Area's Corrections to College work group. In addition to her duties as a specialist, she goes out of her way to attend professional development opportunities and is accepting a position on the board of the organization. Demetria was nominated by the Adult Education Partners to participate in the County District Attorney's initiative called Re-Envision Juvenile Justice. Demetria is a true service leader who represents the best of Contra Costa College, both on and off the campus. Congratulations, Demetria.
Thank you so much, members of the board and Chancellor Oakley. I am incredibly humbled to be nominated by my peers for this award. I'm not sure if you all know, but there are some amazing individuals in the Contra Costa Community College District, and I have been fortunate enough in my career to work alongside of them. Over the years, they've nurtured and guided me, and I share this award with them. I would like to take a moment to thank my family. Hi, I know you guys are all watching. And I also want to shout out my Mustang family at LMC, where my career started, as well as my comments at Contra Costa College, as well as my workforce development department and my classified Senate. I couldn't do this all without you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Demetria. And with that, Madam President, I believe that concludes our presentation.
Thank you so much. And again, I want to congratulate all of our award recipients. You do us proud in the work that you do every day. And we all know that you are representative of hundreds, thousands of classified across our system. So again, thank you. I'm now going to open this up for member comments or questions. Okay. Oh, I see 2 hands. Member Grande.
I want to congratulate each and every one of our classified award recipients. Throughout this pandemic, being on campus as a faculty member has been difficult, but it would have been impossible without the support of our classified staff. There is nothing that I do in my day-to-day operations in the classroom that is not supported 100% on the backside with our classified staff. So thank you so much for all that you've done for our students to help them get to our classes, get through their programs, and get to graduation. You are remarkable. Thank you.
Member Hall.
Yeah, so much of our work is devoted to the investors and the students, but I absolutely love this award when we do it once a year, just to meet you and know that you're really the backbone of every campus. We kind of take when people walk on a campus, they kind of take it for granted. Walk on, the things look good and everything's functioning, but they don't realize how much hard work it takes to run a darn campus. So you're the best at what you do, and just we haven't had the pleasure to meet face to face, but it's I just want to thank you for your superb work. Be mentors for others and keep up the great work. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Member Shaw and then Member Fitzgerald.
I just want to echo everyone else and thank each and every one of you, from the youngest to the oldest. Each person mentioned many, many names of people who supported them in their efforts. And so I want to thank you for remembering others. I want to thank you for your hard work. And we just look forward to a brighter future. So thank you all so much.
Member Fitzgerald.
Thank you, President Haynes. I've said this before, but one thing that we sometimes forget is, you have a classified staff member, they have their designated role, but one thing they always do, and I've always seen classified staff do, especially when I was, in my first year or two at San Joaquin Delta College, is they really become friends and mentors of most every student they come across. Even more so than some of the faculty, because the faculty have so much, so little time on their hands, especially during this pandemic. And I personally had a classified staff member who really meant a lot to me, Ricky Gutierrez. When I was in student government, the Pride Center was right next door, and I would talk to Ricky day in and day out. I would waste this guy's time for hours and hours and hours. But these people have so much love in their hearts for the work that they do. And you guys exemplify that. I just want to join in with my fellow board member comments and really congratulate you guys and thank you for the incredible work you do and the little impacts that you make with every student that you come across. The work that you do is phenomenal. And I hope, during this pandemic, it hasn't been too difficult to really make those impacts stronger and stronger. So thank you guys again. And I really look forward to seeing what's next to come on each of your campuses.
Member Epstein.
Thanks. I just wanted to note that, it has been a very difficult year for everybody, and particularly all the statistics say for women, as they've had to handle multiple responsibilities, and more of them have had to give up their jobs, making it all the more remarkable that all 5 of our winners are women. And I want to acknowledge that, point that out, and congratulate you for taking on not just your jobs campus, but I know many of you have a lot of other responsibilities at home that were made more difficult as a result of the pandemic. So thank you for your extraordinary work.
Thank you for that. Seeing no hands from our board members, is there any public comment?
The public comment period for item 6.3 is now open. Please use the raise hand feature to make a comment to the board. If you're calling in, press *9. A member of the Chancellor's office will call on you and allow you to speak. You have a maximum of 3 minutes. We did not receive any written comments on this item, and I will hand it over to Gary for hands raised.
So we do have Evan Decker. You have control of your mic and can address the board.
Good morning, Board of Governors. Good morning, Chancellor. Good morning, honored classified staff members. Congratulations to you all. I'm Evan Decker, Dean of Workforce and Economic Development at Contra Costa College, and I'm so happy and pleased today to be honoring all of you, and especially my colleague and friend, Demetria Lawrence. She is honored and respected across the campus, and as was just shared minutes ago in a text, she has enhanced my ability to be dedicated to our work and seek to be transformational in approaching student success. And that is the ethos of Demetria across our campus. And I'm so happy that she can be honored in this way today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Are there any other is there any other public comment?
There are no other hands raised at this time.
Well, again, thank you so much for your presence here and for the work you do. We're going to move to 6.4. It is the Vision for Success Spotlight 2021 State of the System Report, and we have our Chancellor presenting, Chancellor Oakley.
All right, thank you, Board President Haynes. And it's always great to see all the members of the Board of Governors, and welcome to the public. Today, I have the pleasure to present an overview of the 2021 State of the System Report. It's a report on the progress that has been made toward the Vision for Success goals, which were adopted by this board. And while the past year has presented significant challenges, our commitment to the work remains steadfast. And there are three things that I hope that you take away from this presentation. First, that we are seeing progress. What I will report to you today shows continued progress toward the Vision for Success goals. And so that is a testament to the great work that's happening at our colleges, our college leaders, faculty, and of course, the classified staff, which are all working hard toward these goals. But it also shows that work remains to be done and that we are committed to this work. And finally, that while the past year has brought some significant hardship and disruption to our system, it has also ushered an era of flexibility. It has challenged us to focus on the needs of our students. It has given us a much clearer perspective of the struggles that our students face. And that will help us continue to drive forward on these Vision for Success goals. So we're going to go over a lot of data today, and there's a lot in this presentation. So if I may, I would ask the Board of Governors to hold your questions until the end, and then we can go back to whatever slide you want to go to. And we also have John Hetz, Dr. John Hetz and the team ready to dig deep in case there's any questions about the data behind the Vision for Success goals. So next slide, please. This excerpt from the vision captures the importance of this work to our system and to our goals. Sort of sets the stage for this presentation. Next slide, please. So here we have, again, the commitments and the vision goals. This is just a reminder of what we're striving for and the commitments that we've made that help drive us toward the vision goals. Next slide. This is a timetable, just refreshing everybody's memory on where we began this journey back in 2017, the work that has happened in between, milestones like the system-wide guided pathways introduction, which started in July of 2017, and created the framework for how we drive the vision goals. And of course, all the work that has happened since then, AB 705, we streamlined transfer agreements with most of our partners. We continue to work toward achieving these goals. And of course, along the way, we met challenges and opportunities, which are leading us toward this point in time. And of course, over the last year, the call to action, also a major inflection point in the Vision for Success goals. Next slide. So this slide gives you a sense of how we are looking at the work that we do in the Chancellor's office and across the system. So whether we're talking about policy connections, policy reforms, or introduction of new policy, fiscal reforms, advocacy, or program alignment and support, we want to make sure all this work weaves its way in support of the Vision for Success goals. And the filter by which we look at this is the Guided Pathways Framework, the 4 pillars of the Guided Pathways Framework, clarifying the path, entering the path, staying on path, and ensuring learning, all in service of the Vision for Success goal. So that's the way that we're anchored. We use the Guided Pathways Framework as our anchor, and we drive alignment in support of the Vision for Success goals. Next slide. So here we go. Goal number 1, increase the number of students earning a credential by at least 20%. So, excuse me. So this goal has been attained. Goal number 1 was attained back in 2019-20. So we're seeing continued and significant improvement in completion of this goal, which is great news. This is, again, a testament to the work that's happening on our colleges. It was no small feat, but our work continues. We have seen continued improvement here, but we are going to continue to drive forward, continue to increase this number. Just in the last year, we saw, about a 4% increase, which is great news. So we continue to see this going forward, and I just want to give congratulations to our college leaders, our faculty and staff, for continuing to improve the number and type of credentials that our students are obtaining. Next slide. Okay, this is the goal on transfer. Increasing transfer to UC and the CSU by 35% over 5 years. So we see improvement here, which is the good news. We've seen an increase of more than 10% from our baseline when we started this. So that's good news. In the last year, we've seen increase of a little more than 3% from the previous year. So we're going in the right direction. However, we're not increasing year to year enough to meet this goal yet. And, transfer has been talked about quite a bit lately. I testified before the assembly on transfer along with my colleagues, Michael Drake and Joe Castro from the CSU. This is still an issue for the state of California, and we want to continue to push the governor and our system partners to increase space at the UC and the CSU. As you'll see in the next slide, our system is doing a good job of preparing students for transfer. So as you can see here, the associate's degree for transfer, which is the primary mechanism that we use to prepare students to transfer to the CSU and align with the UC. And as you know, we have aligned the associate degree for transfer with our AICCU partners, with other colleges and universities that receive our students. So our system is doing a great job. A 62% increase in the number of associate degree for transfers since we began this goal. That is significant improvement. So that is a really great piece of news that the system, our colleges, our faculty and staff are preparing students to transfer. But this also raises many questions. What's going to happen to these students as this number continues to increase? Where are these students going? For those students that are not transferring, why aren't they? So we're working with our partners in the system, the RP group and others to look more deeply into this issue, because we want to make sure that the students that we are preparing for transfer have a place to transfer to and are completing that transfer process, that we're completing that handoff. So we're going to continue to work on this, and you'll hear more about this as time goes on. Next slide, please. So here we go to Vision for Success goal number 3, which is to reduce the average units accumulated by students who complete degrees and get it down to 79. So this vision goal is a lagging indicator to some extent. It is probably the most lagging indicator that we have because of the number of students, over 2 million, a lot of them carrying a large number of units, which creates difficulty getting that average down. So it is our most stubborn indicator. However, it's a very important indicator of the success of the Guided Pathways Framework, the work that we're doing around AB 705. So we do see improvements, but they're very modest at this point. It's going to take us some time to work this through. And part of the challenge has been that since we began developing the metrics for this goal, we have continued to improve the metrics. We've continued to learn more about the data that's in our system, continued to improve the way that we collect the data and the way that we report the data. So this metric will continue to improve over time, but it is the most stubborn of all of them. The work that we're doing in Guided Pathways to streamline the path for students will continue to impact this goal. And I'm hopeful that over time, you'll see the decrease begin to accelerate as Guided Pathways continues to take hold. And as you have seen in the budget, preliminary budget for the governors, there's another investment in the Guided Pathways Framework, which will continue to impact this goal. Next slide, please. Vision for Success Goal 4. Continued modest progress to this goal, but as some of you remember, the initial goal was set at 69%, and we achieved that within the first year. So the Board of Governors came back and increased this goal to 76%. So we're making modest progress toward this goal. We're going in the right direction, but we need to lean into it much harder. So again, this goal is about students getting employed in their field of study within 1 year of exiting our colleges. So there's a little bit of lag time in this indicator because we have to wait until a student exits and a year after see where they're employed. Good news is that we're going in the right direction. The challenge we're going to see is what this pandemic year has done to this number. It's hard to speculate, but I'm sure you can all imagine that there is going to be an impact here. Considering that over the last year and a half almost, there has been very little movement in the employment sector for many of the programs that we prepare students for. We will see some success in some of the essential infrastructure programs, but even those programs have been hit by the pandemic in terms of the number of jobs that were being created. So we're going to keep an eye on this indicator. We will have more information next year about the impacts that we're going to see from this pandemic year. But it is a goal that we need to continue to push on and ensure that our students are getting good paying jobs in their field of study. But again, the good news is our colleges are continuing to make progress, and we will come back to you with more information about the impacts of the pandemic year. Next slide. So now we get into the last two goals, which are focused on equity gaps. Vision for Success Goal 5 focuses on reducing equity gaps among underrepresented students by 40% over 5 years and working toward eliminating these gaps in 10 years. This goal is at the heart of the Vision for Success. Equity is at the heart of the Vision for Success. So this is a goal we have to continue to be laser focused on. As you can see, we're making improvements in most areas, particularly in areas of some of our underrepresented groups. However, the gap is not closing fast enough. While there is progress being made, there still remains a significant equity gap. And so while in some sense it's good that many of these groups continue to increase in success, we need to make sure that the groups that have been underrepresented accelerate their success faster. There are many reasons that we can get into why closing this gap remains challenging. Certainly, And not the least of which is that we serve some of the most under-resourced students in California. We serve 2/3 of California undergraduate students, but our students receive only 5% of Cal Grant. So we need to continue to advocate for our students to make sure that they have the resources that they need. And despite, nearly half of them meeting the income requirements for a fee waiver, they're still not getting the financial aid that they need to be successful and to go full time. So this is why we continue to advocate for a cost-based framework that removes the current barriers to participation for particularly our adult students. So again, there is progress being made. So I do want to thank our faculty and staff for continuing to lean into this, but there is a tremendous of work that still needs to be done. And we need to double our efforts to close this gap and to be able to have success within that 10-year framework. Next slide. So this slide focuses on our regional gaps. Again, we didn't want to just talk about individual demographic groups. We wanted to recognize that some of the hardest work that we need to lean into is in some regions where we've had students be left behind for decades. And so our base is the Bay Area. As you can see, Bay Area is continuing to make improvements. And then we see the Central Valley, Inland Empire, the Los Angeles region, Northern region, San Diego, and South Central region. And so you see, again, improvements being made. So that's good news. Improvements being made across all regions. In some cases, the gap has been closing. If we look at the Central Valley, they're doing good work there. Inland Empire, they're beginning to close the gap, but those gaps remain. So we need to continue to lean into those communities where we have the largest number of under-resourced students that need the biggest lift. So I think the big takeaways from this slide is that we've just seen that there remains progress toward the Vision for Success goals, even during some highly disruptive years, particularly this last year. And we will see more of the impact of the COVID pandemic in next year's numbers. This year's numbers just began to touch on the pandemic's effect at the beginning of the year. But the biggest impact we will see in next year's numbers, and we will continue to update the board on what we think that impact will be. But again, this is a testament of the resiliency of our students. We have the most resilient students in all of higher education, and they continue to push forward despite all the impacts. I know many people assumed that they would just, those students who were getting close to finishing would just leave, but we continue to see them hanging in there and finishing. So we need to continue to support them as we work through this tail end of the pandemic and lean into this in the post-pandemic recovery. Speaking of the pandemic, if we can go to the next slide, I just want to continue to highlight the work that we're doing. This is a system of continuous improvement. We know that each year will bring new challenges and opportunities. So we need to have a system of continuous improvement. The great news is that when the Board of Governors adopted the Vision for Success, it laid down a firm anchor, an anchor by which we can navigate and hold on to a direction in spite of everything that's going on around us. No one could have predicted a pandemic when we laid down the groundwork for the Vision for Success, but it's proved to be a firm anchor in this storm. It continues to provide our colleges and our system a guidepost for where we need to go and allows us the flexibility to navigate around those challenges. So this is a system of continuous improvement. We are learning a lot about the metrics, about the interventions, and the good news is that we are seeing progress. So we expect that this continuous improvement loop will continue to help us learn more and come back to the Board of Governors with more information, better data systems, and continued improvement toward the Vision for Success goals. Next slide. And again, we've talked a lot about the pandemic. We need to recognize the hardship that the pandemic has caused for our students in our colleges. This is not in any way an excuse, but it is something that we have to focus on. The pandemic has taken a financial toll on our students. 41% of our students experience changes in employment. We have to recognize that. We have to dig deep in our colleges and work with our employers and make sure that we are connecting our students to jobs. I'm grateful in the governor's plan, Recovery with Equity, that is a focus as well. So we'll continue to work through this. Next slide, please. And of course, you already knew that our students were experiencing housing and food insecurity. This has only been exacerbated throughout the pandemic. So basic needs continues to be a focal point of our advocacy. I'm grateful to the governor and the legislature for focusing on basic needs as well. So we're hopeful that we can get this support out to our students. Next slide. I also want to recognize how amazing the various players in our system have been in responding to the COVID-19 pandemic. The Foundation for California Community Colleges is one great example. Quickly launched the campaign for student relief and recovery, which provided students with immediate emergency aid. And with contributions from many of our friends and donors, nearly $1 million of emergency support was raised. So I want to thank the foundation and all their partners for supporting our students. Our local district and college foundations also stepped up and provided critical emergency support for our students. Next slide. This is a nice quote from Dahlia at Glendale Community Colleges, just reminding us of how important all this support has been for our students to get through this crisis. Next slide. And our colleges, in many examples, have stepped up to support our students. They are exactly what we think about when we think about community colleges. They are in their community, supporting their community. And just to give you a snapshot, 30,000 Chromebooks were passed out. 5,000 mobile hotspots delivered through College Buys, 800 community college nursing students connected to the scholarship opportunities that were created. So that's all a testament to the great support that we have for our system. Next slide. And of course, our system leads. This has been a challenging time for every college and university throughout the last year, but we have not fallen back. We have leaned in and stepped forward. We were able to influence the way that federal stimulus funds were allocated. We have led a national conversation about student basic needs. We're shaping Cal Grant reform, continuing to lean into this conversation, which 2 years ago was not a conversation at all. And we're leading a state and national conversation about integrating diversity, equity, and inclusion, and leaning in on anti-racism within our Guided Pathways framework. Next slide. Our impact is far-reaching. The governor's Recovery with Equity roadmap is very much aligned with the Vision for Success. Our regional accreditor, ACCJC, is now adopting a standard for equity and social justice and aligning with our system standards and goals. There's been the changes to student placement have had a profound effect on higher education. We have been supporting this national conversation about the challenges that standardized testing has on our students, particularly our low income and students of color. And as you've heard, the University of California has said goodbye to the SAT and the ACT. We continue to support this conversation. And we have shifted the views on philanthropy. A great example of that was the $100 million pledge to the California Community Colleges by the J. Pritzker Foundation. And we've seen more funders, more philanthropists follow along in this vein. So we're shifting the views of philanthropy. Next slide. There's lots of work ahead. We need to continue to implement the policies that have been sponsored by the Board of Governors. We need to ensure that policy change is implemented with fidelity. Things like AB 705, we're going to talk a lot about. Competency-based education is an important component to a recovery with equity and reaching more adult learners. We need sustainable implementation of the call to action. The work that we're doing in diversity, equity, and inclusion, in particular, the work that we're doing on improving campus policing and training are all critical components to reaching the Vision for Success goal. And we need to continue to be fierce advocates for our students, ensuring that we pull down more resources to support the most resilient students in America here in our California community colleges. Next slide. I want to begin to close. I've heard from a lot of you about the importance of highlighting the impact that our California community colleges has had. And I know I just had a conversation with our Lieutenant Governor about this. You know, the CSU and the UC have published economic impact reports. We feel that it is equally important for the public to understand the economic impact of the California community colleges. And as you can imagine, it is massive. However, we are 73 districts dispersed throughout the state. So we're working first to aggregate all the information that is already out there. Many districts have already published economic impact reports. We want to make it easy for the public to see those. So as part of that, we're creating a website that will be up soon that will roll up all that information about economic impact that's happening in our communities and rolling it up to one website and being able to really tell the student stories of the impact that we're making. And we're also exploring other ways of how to aggregate all that information so that we can show the aggregate impact of the state of California. So we're working through that, and we'll have more information for the Board of Governors in the very near future. Next slide. Finally, big thank yous to everyone. First, our students who have shown amazing grit and resiliency. They are amazing. They have what has kept us all coming to work every single day. And they have shown us the way. The work that the SSCCC has done on diversity, equity, and inclusion, anti-racism work, they are an amazing model for all of us. Our faculty and staff have shown amazing commitment, flexibility, and empathy. Our district leaders, chancellors, superintendent presidents, college presidents, and of course, the governor and the legislature for continuing to support our system. And last, but certainly not least, the Board of Governors for your continued support. It's important that we continue to lean into the Vision for Success. It is easy for crises like the pandemic to get us off of our path. We need to stay on this path. The path is proving successful. We are seeing improvements across the board. We need to accelerate those improvements. And I believe the way to do that is to continuing to lean into the Vision for Success goals and the framework that we've put in place. And last slide. I want to open it up to the Board of Governors now, and I've got the team with me virtually in different places, ready to answer any questions the board has.
So thank you, Chancellor, for that very thorough presentation. And a shout out goes to John Hetz for all of the work that you've done behind the scenes to make all of the information that was given to us relevant. I want to open this up for board questions and comments. I see that the Lieutenant Governor, Board Member Kounalakis has her hand up.
Yeah.
You're on mute, Lieutenant Governor.
My apologies. Thank you so much, Chancellor Oakley. You know, I always appreciate a clear presentation that lays the issue out and allows everyone to follow along in a way that we can all kind of understand. And your presentation of the vision for success and the policies and the path that we are on, the achievements so far and what remains was just absolutely crystal clear. And your leadership in driving this system forward toward the goals that have been laid out by the Pathway for Success are also really very, very notable. And I noticed as well that when you talked about some of the important things that have shaped this pathway so far, you don't necessarily take perhaps the credit that you should for your leadership, whether it's in steering not just this system, but the entire system of public higher education in the state away from standardized tests, or whether it's the philanthropy that you yourself have gone out on the front lines in order to be able to cultivate, or working with the legislature on so many policies that are, and of course, funding that are going to help us achieve these goals. So I just feel that someone has to note, Chancellor Oakley, your leadership in this process and how incredibly important it is. And I'm sure others, everyone is agreeing. But I did have one question for you. You noted that that with the impacts of the pandemic on our students and the system as a whole, that 2020, 2021 is not likely to necessarily show a straight line of progress. Do you have any other details that are starting to emerge of the impact of this extraordinary time on our progress relative to the Pathway for Success?
So I'll give a few high-level examples, and I'll invite Dr. Hetz. She's been looking at the data a little bit closer, can give a little bit more insight on some of the things, some of the trends that we're starting to see emerge. You know, of course, the beauty and the challenge of our system, the beauty is that students can enroll, can come in and out of our system anytime. They don't have to apply necessarily. There's not an admission process. There's an application process, but they can come and go. That's the beauty. The challenge is that it makes it hard to really get our arms around where students are going, unlike CSU and UC, where you're either in or you're out. Here, students come and go. So the impact of the pandemic on that student flow, I mean, we certainly saw this last fall a significant reduction in enrollment. We are seeing some signs of a bounce back in the spring, but we won't know for sure what that looks like for some time. And of course, the number of jobs that were available for students to go into after they completed their programs of study were clearly sort of off the map considerably. And so we're hoping that the recovery picks up and those students do get the jobs that they were being trained for. But I'll invite Dr. Hetz to talk a little bit more about the trends he's seeing.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the question, Lieutenant Governor. I think this is the question that's really absorbed an enormous amount of our attention. As we shared in an earlier meeting, there are really significant differences or disproportionate impacts that this pandemic has had on our students. So in terms of the types of things that we track for the state of the system reporting and against the Vision for Success goals, some of those changes are going to be modest initially and be seen longer term. So for example, for our transfer goals, I think what we're seeing is our transfer goals are going to stay on track for where they currently are. They may actually go up a little bit because of the increased uptake of our students by our transfer partners. Our completion goals, probably most of those students are who are near completion, they are likely and they're more likely to stay around. We saw that a little bit in the data we presented last time. But I think we're going to see pretty significant impacts in a couple of years. Where we have had, as we discussed previously, we have had many fewer students start across our entire range of students. both directly from K-12, but all the normal students that we get who return to education, they have not. And so hopefully they will return as things return to normal. But that will be a long-term challenge for all of the goals that we set for our system and for students individually. The other thing I think we're going to really need to keep a laser focus on is this pandemic is very likely to exacerbate our existing equity gaps. There's almost no way around that given how it's been experienced by our students. And so we are going to have to redouble our focus and efforts on providing the support to all of our students to close the gaps that we continue to have in completion.
Okay, thank you. I'm sure everyone will look forward to hearing more as we get more information and data. And thank you to you and to the whole team for this just terrific presentation.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. You're on mute, Pam.
So sorry. We have Board Member Grande and then Board Member Aguinaldo.
Thank you, President Haynes, and thank you, Chancellor Oakley, for your presentation. From a frontline faculty member, looking at the data reassures me of our wholesale commitment across the system for the Vision for Success goals and the fact that we are really making impacts, deliberate impacts year over year. The one thing I did want to know, though, is I recently attended a commencement ceremony that highlighted students. It was virtual, highlighted students and the multitude of awards that they were receiving at commencement, multiple associate degrees, associate degree for transfer along with occupational degrees simultaneously. How difficult is it going to be to monitor employment in their field of study with data when you have multiple degrees that are being awarded to a student in a particular period of time?
I think that is that's a good question. I mean, on the one hand, if it's a career technical education certificate or degree, that's pretty straightforward. But I will let the data czar discuss how the team looks at that distinction.
So one of the ways that we what we rely on is the Career Technical Education Outcome Survey for a lot of that information. And that the reason we rely on that is it asks the students to provide that information, right? So they are being a judge of whether or not they're employed in their field of study. And the reason for that is there's a lot of lack of specificity in things like the EDD data, because it tells you the sector that they're employed in, but not necessarily the job that they're employed in. So we might have an IT professional, for example, who appears to be employed in a hospital. That looks like they're not employed in their field of study, but they are employed as a IT professional at the hospital, right? And so that type of thing, that it doesn't get to that level of specificity. So that's why we use what students report with respect to whether or not they're employed in their field of study. So it shouldn't have a significant impact on that because we're relying on students' judgments.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the response.
So Board Member Aguinaldo and then Board Member Anderson.
Thank you very much, President Haynes. And I just want to echo the Lieutenant Governor's comment around the brilliance of this presentation. I appreciated the data as well. I was very moved by the slide talking about economic impact. I'd like to know more about what your thoughts are around measuring the economic impact, but also the way that we're communicating that to the students. Because when we're thinking about impact, we're thinking also about demand and phrasing it in terms of demand for certain jobs. And I wonder if we can go beyond the discussion around self-actualization to get to convey to the students that California needs you. California needs you to be in certain roles. And we not only want you to realize your dreams and be successful, but it's the fact that you as a student are such an integral part of what makes California successful. is that message, you think, being properly communicated? And how can we continue to emphasize our appreciation for students in this way? Not only as, a place that services students, but a place that builds them to become a part of the fabric and the economic engine of California.
So I appreciate your question, Board Member Aguinaldo, because, first we begin with sort of just the straight economics of the impact that our colleges have. And, our colleges rely on organizations like MZ and others that do this analysis based on, the impact that the colleges have on the tax base of a community, the spending power, the money that flows into that community, the kinds of workforce that we're creating for the community. So that's sort of a straight economics perspective of that impact. But as the slide mentioned, we want to translate that into one, storytelling to really help the public understand the kind of personal impact our students are making in their community and in the state of California. We're such a large and diverse system that we don't always get our hands around the storytelling component. And that's such a critical part of maintaining trust. I will tell you that from a local perspective, a local college relies on that storytelling, relies on those alumni, relies on highlighting the employers in the community that went through a community college. And we need to do a better job of that at the state level. So that is one aspect. The other is how it connects to our communication strategy. So Vice Chancellor Hafiz has been working on a number of strategies, whether that be to highlight career education programs in the state, particularly with our Black and African American students, highlight the programs that are available in their communities that help them get into good paying jobs. So we want to use the economic impact to drive the communication as well, because I do think, and I agree with you, we want students to see themselves, as part of the California community colleges. Sometimes we're so transient, and I say we because I was a student in the community colleges, and I just saw myself at the time passing through in order to get to somewhere else. We need to make sure that our students see themselves and the importance of the experience that they're having on their lives, because certainly in retrospect, community college changed my life, changed my entire family's trajectory. We need to be able to tell that story more directly.
I agree, Chancellor Oakley, and thank you very much for that response. I mean, I constantly think about how our students were the front lines of this epidemic.
Yep.
We produced the healthcare workers. We produced the logistical workers. We would not have made it out or continue to try to make it out without their work. And we need to tell that story. So to the extent that we can help you, support you, and Vice Chancellor Hafiz on that, I look forward to that.
I'm sure Vice Chancellor Hafiz will be calling you.
So thank
I'll
you.
pick up.
Board Member Anderson and then Board Member Epstein.
Thank you. And again, I want to reiterate what others have already said, but I want to remind us all that, unlike the other two systems, the CSU and the UC, there is many, many, many more resources that are put forward in the management of those systems than the system allows the chancellor and the chancellor's staff. So I think to complement what Hildy just said is that, the work that you've done with the resources is really remarkable, because you were at the front lines and you did it on a pittance of a budget. And I always have felt that, we as a board should fight for increased funding for this staff. Secondly, to the point that you just made, Chancellor, what concerns me is that when I look at all those graphs, you had, going into the pandemic, you had positive messaging and you were incrementally growing. And John does such a great job at articulating and showing visually. And so what I'm worried about is that because of the pandemic, how are we going to spin, or how are we going to communicate that in a way where we, look at the reality of the pandemic and make sure that we don't lose a sense of hope because we have to take a step back, or that, certain goals weren't met on time because of this pandemic. And I worry about that in the context, as you know, of the Capitol, all the other third parties that would like to beat us up on a regular basis. So I'd love your thoughts on that.
Well, I will concur that there are parts that love to beat us up on a regular basis, but no, seriously, in my mind, we have to use this as an opportunity to put a focus on our students. I mean, and in particular, the policies, state policies, budget policies that create a disproportionate impact on our students. Cal Grant is a great example. I mean, we could say that, yes, the pandemic has exposed what we all knew what was going on, that our students are under-resourced, and that things like Cal Grant do not provide them the equity that they deserve in terms of state investment in their education. So I think we have to take this and use it as an opportunity to highlight that problem. We can't run away from the problem. We have to take on the problem head on. And I recognize that would be a significant increase in investment on the part of the state of California. It is, something that I know my friends in the Department of Finance hate to commit ongoing funds to, but we need to continue to drive that home, because we have to remind people that these 2.1 million students, they're the backbone of the workforce. And if we want to see a recovery with equity, we've got to put the focus on the most under-resourced students, the backbone of the workforce in every community. If we want to see changes in voting patterns, if we want to see changes in the racial reckoning that we just experienced, we need to invest in those students, our students. So that's the point I think we need to drive home, and I think we need to be loud and clear about that. Yes, the pandemic has had a huge impact on them. We see it on the news all the time, but we also see on the news the people saving us literally every day are our students, our nursing students, our first responders, our law enforcement, our essential workers. So we need to use this as an opportunity to remind Californians how important that workforce is to their future.
I couldn't agree with you more, and I do hope that we will look at some actual formal program to do that, either through advocacy, communications, potentially a partnership with the foundation, something to go ahead and drive this point home, because I think there's a small window in time here to drive it home. And once we're back, people are going to forget what happened and we'll move very quickly on. So thank you again for all your hard work, and to the staff.
Thank you.
So Member Epstein and then Member Rawlings.
Thank you. Chancellor, I want to reiterate what the Lieutenant Governor said about your leadership. And I think in particular, the national impact that you've had on standardized testing and on benefits for undocumented students is really phenomenal. And I applaud that. It really did have a national impact. My question is about enrollment and also some of the components of that. As you know, I've been concerned about declining enrollment, and I know that the governor gave us some new money to deal with that. And I'm just curious about the role of the chancellor's office versus the colleges and how that's being done. And then I also have questions. You alluded in your opening remarks at the meeting yesterday to the AB 705 issue and the PPIC report. I'd love it if you had an opportunity to elaborate on that. And And then finally, I know this is a tripartite question. The impact of the funding formula on the recovery from AB 705. I think it is important to note, the incentives that gives. I'd like you to just spend a minute on that too. Thank you.
Sure. So let me talk about enrollment first, and the role of the Chancellor's Office versus the colleges. We're very grateful for the dollars that were allocated by the governor and the legislature to reach out to students. That money goes directly to the colleges. There's a portion that was held back for a statewide campaign with Vice Chancellor Feastis working on now in collaboration with the district public information officers and other members of the communication staff at our colleges. And the goal is to target those resources. I mean, we're very grateful for the resources. It's still, not a huge amount of money considering how big our system is, but very well. So we want to target particular demographics of students who we know that we've lost in greater numbers. I mean, thinking about our adult students, in some cases, male students, certainly Black African-American students in some communities. We want to target those resources to the communities and the demographics of students that have been hit the hardest by the enrollment decline by the pandemic. I mean, and so, enrollment in community colleges is a very amorphous issue because of all the things I mentioned previously. We have a very fluid system. Students come and go depending on what's happening in their life. And obviously they had something happen in their life. They lost work, they had students at home. So I think as K-12 gets back to in-person instruction, students are no longer at home. We'll see some bounce back. So I'm hopeful that these efforts will work. The way the colleges are typically using these resources are very similar. They have a pretty good idea of the students that they've lost. And so they're trying to target their resources on those students. There's always a challenge of just blanketing a community for enrollment growth, but we're trying to be very strategic with these resources on enrollment. And I'll ask Dr. Hetz to comment on what he sees in the early enrollment numbers, or at least the applications that we see coming. AB 705. AB 705 is such a critical component of the Vision for Success strategy. You all have seen the tremendous gains that low-income students and students of color have made through the implementation of AB 705. It is something that we have had the support of the academic senate and many constituent groups in the system, and we need to continue to work with them. And we need to focus time and attention on those college campuses that are still struggling with an implementation with fidelity. And what do I mean by that? I mean, we have to implement the law with fidelity. We have to implement the intent. And so some colleges are struggling with that for various reasons. So we want to, one, provide the technical support. And I know Vice Chancellor Aisha Lowe has mentioned some of this in the past, working hand in hand with our colleagues at the Academic Senate, provide support for the faculty at those campuses that are still struggling. But we also have to support the college leaders and the boards of trustees and make it clear that this is a commitment to implementing with fidelity. So we want to provide as much data as possible. We're working on a dashboard that will help members of the college community and the public see what's happening and work with their local campuses and boards of trustees to help improve the implementation with fidelity of AB 705, because that is having a real impact on the Vision for Success goals. And finally, the funding formula, student-centered funding formula, has proven to be, for several reasons. One, we couldn't have anticipated such a huge decline in enrollment because of a pandemic. The student-centered funding formula has helped sort of balance that out because of the reduced reliance on enrollment growth in the new funding formula. Also, it's helped us keep a focus on the things that matter, ensuring that we're continuing to support undocumented students, ensuring that we've got a focus on associate's degree for transfer and the transfer function, on helping students get into programs of study that lead to good paying jobs. So all that has been very aligned with the Vision for Goals and has been supporting those goals throughout. Did I miss anything, Board Member Epstein?
No, that covered it. Thanks. A friendly question.
I do, since I know this question has come up, I don't know, John, if you have any thoughts on anything that you're seeing in the enrollment numbers for this last spring that tell us anything about the changes from fall to spring.
So as we look forward, so in terms of the enrollment numbers this spring, they look very similar to last fall. So we're continuing in the colleges right now to have some of the same challenges, right? It's not really surprising. But where I think I do see some real reason for optimism and hope is as we look comparatively, we are closing the gap to prior years in the students who are applying. So we still have a gap, however. So we have some work to do, but it's kind of like the first shoots of spring. I see real hope in life that students are planning to come back. We're going to have to do a lot of work to pull together your question, Board Member Epstein, and some of your questions, Board Member Anderson. I think there are real opportunities for the community colleges here to think about places and students and places in students' lives and types of students that we didn't always. So we typically had lots of students starting every year, but we have not necessarily looked for students in places that we didn't typically look. So there is a large population of adults in California who have some college or who have never tried college. That is really the types of students we should be reaching out to build the future of California's workforce. And there's a whole set of students that leave the California community colleges every term. And because they've always had more students coming behind them, they have not necessarily been a priority. Lots of colleges have really important work that they do for those students, but we all need to lean heavily into thinking more carefully about the students that exit our system without an outcome. And this gives us a moment for us to focus on those students.
The last thing I'd say on that, Dr. Hetz just reminded me of something. Before the pandemic, we were already seeing a plateau in enrollment growth. So that was happening before the pandemic. In my humble estimation, the only way that we're going to see enrollment increases going forward is if we do two things. One is ensure that we're continuing to improve outcomes for low-income students and students of color, so that the students in our system already are obtaining those credentials. The second thing is we're going to have to do a better job with adult learners. That is a population of students that we have to grow in terms of not only participation, but completion of meaningful outcomes. And for them, meaningful outcomes are typically jobs. In post-pandemic recovery, I think the implementation of competency-based education, Cal Bright College sort of leading the way there is going to be critical. The states and the systems that have robust competency-based education models, that have robust adult learner commitments, are growing enrollment. Some of the largest enrollment growth of colleges and universities have been in colleges and universities that serve adult learners. This is an area that we are going to have to improve, and we're going to have to lean into, particularly if we're thinking about a recovery. We've got to get people back to work, and we've got to be the ones that provide that education, not our nonprofit partners throughout the country or our for-profit, not so much partners in the state of California.
Thank you, Chancellor. We have Member Rawlings.
All right, thank you for that, and thank you for those answers. It kind of provides me a little intersectionality here. My question primarily relates to the achievement gaps, and I recognize that number one, the data is, most recent data seems to be from 17-18, and kind of wanted to get a better understanding on that. And is there any indication on where those trend lines might be going, kind of the pre-pandemic period from 17-18 until the beginning of the pandemic? But Chancellor, maybe just a check of my own understanding of things, particularly around the racial equity gaps. I was taking a look at that slide and saw how little progress was made among Black and African American students, and how we seem to have lost some ground with Indigenous Native American students. From our baseline to the 17-18 year, I'm wondering, especially if we have some data more recent than that, but knowing that AB 705 is more recent than some of this data, knowing that our push for financial aid reform is more recent and not fully realized, and then also knowing that our diversity, equity, and inclusion work hasn't really had an impact on our students yet. Thinking about those kind of things, are there other pieces that we should be paying attention to regarding the racial equity gaps and the regional equity gaps, or is those main things kind of pretty close to the center of the target on what we need to be focusing on?
So I'll ask Dr. Hetz to lean in on the questions, the specific questions about the data. But to your last question, Member Rawlings, AB 705, the Guided Pathways Framework, and I think most importantly right now, better resourcing our students are the critical components to the demographics of students that you just mentioned. With our Native American and Indigenous populations, I mean, it is a relatively small population and it's relatively transient, but we do, obviously, in the communities that those students are predominantly in, we do need to do a better job of reaching out. And a lot of this is related to our diversity, equity, inclusion work. We've got to diversify our faculty so that more of our students, more of our underrepresented students see themselves in the classroom. And that has to be a critical component that we continue to focus on. It is a student success strategy. It is not just for diversity's sake. It is about getting more faculty and staff that understand the experience of our students into the classrooms and into the offices on our college campuses. But I'll let Dr. Hetz chime in on the specific data questions that you raised.
So Board Member Rawlings, on the most recent data issue, the way that we are able to compare students in different groups is we are creating cohorts that we track over time so that we are understanding of the students who start, how many finish. And so we are using 3-year cohorts there. And so that is our most recent 3-year cohort of students. So that's the most recent data we have. Obviously, we have new students, but those cohorts haven't completed yet or haven't gotten to a 3-year mark yet. But to your question of the amount of progress, I think what we see generally throughout our system on a lot of our initiatives is we are making modest progress at best. Even if you look at things like AB 705, where we've had a really significant impact on our students, it's dramatically increased the likelihood that all students.
Oh, I think we may have just lost our data czar. He's suddenly not moving. Okay.
I think that answered most of my question. Yeah.
Okay, we'll come back to anything that that Dr. Hetz missed when we get to the next question.
So, Member Rawlings, did you, with the exception of that last question, did you get your questions answered?
I did. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. We're going to go to Member Williams and then Member Shaw.
Yeah, I was just listening to the comments from my colleagues, and Chancellor, we've talked about this before. Just would like to increase my understanding of how the budget at the state level works. And I'm thinking about the $100 million for the zero cost textbooks, and just thinking about textbooks and basic needs as an equity issue for students. Just thinking about myself as a former student, going 2 weeks without having your book. How can we raise the need for textbooks to come standard with at least the general education courses to be a priority area for the board? And how does the 100 million, like what impact do we have as Board of Governor members on the 100 million? And like, is it within our role to set a standard like that, where we would say that we want to see the standard be that every general education course comes standard with a textbooks? Because in the for-profit institutions, when you go to class, the book comes with the class. In our schools, that's not necessarily the case. And so does the Board of Governors, is it within our role and in our authority, is it appropriate to set that kind of standard to where students show up day one, their textbooks is available for them for whatever period of time? What would that look like? And, is that something that's within our wheelhouse?
Sure. So first of all, the resources that have been put in the governor's budget, I mean, the first thing we need to do is make sure that it shows up in the final budget. So we have some advocacy to do with the legislature, with both budget committees, and continue to support this element in the budget. The money typically is allocated based on criteria that is adopted in the budget. And that criteria typically is, it flows to colleges based on size. That's the typical way that it is allocated, with specific understanding of what the resources are for. What we're asking for is for the ability to provide support and direction for those resources. The governor's intent here is to reduce the cost of education, to reduce the cost of textbooks. And so that has to be the driving intent behind all of this. Not to take away academic freedom from anybody, but to drive down the cost of education. And textbooks is continued to be a high cost. The Board of Governors does not have the authority to dictate to our colleges that all of the textbooks will come as open educational resources or some other digital textbook. But however, the Board of Governors can ask the Chancellor's office to come up with a plan to work with our partners in the Academic Senate to adopt zero cost textbooks across all of our campuses, or to set a goal for the adoption. We do agree that ensuring that students have textbooks on day one is a student success issue. And so Cal Grant reform is certainly part of that, ensuring that students have access to Pell, financial aid available to them so that they don't have to wait, that they get those resources on day one is part of that. But there are pilots, certainly in the UC, the CSU, and in some of our colleges, to provide an electronic textbook in a class and allow the student to opt out. That is something that we need to take a harder look at. Again, this becomes a question of capacity on our end. Yeah. But it is something that we are very interested in doing, and perhaps we can come back to you at a future board meeting to report specifically on what we're doing to ensure that the money that's been allocated in the budget is directed appropriately, and that the Board of Governors has a chance to weigh in.
And let me clarify my intent too, because I understand the 10+1 implications. So it's not my intent to select textbooks or even the format. My main desire is to see that students have a book day one, whatever format that would be, and then whatever content it needs to be.
So before you respond, Chancellor, this is a budget item, and you've answered it very fully. And those questions, and so your question has been answered for the most part. But our next item on the agenda is the budget, in which that there any of those items. Was that your only question, Board Member Williams, relative to questions?
Yeah, and I just wanted to be clear about the intent too, is not to, overstep our 10+1 obligations, but to make sure that students have the resources that they need when they start their classes.
Absolutely. So thank you for that question. The next member, Member Shaw.
Yes, I hold my I have comments for the next,
Okay.
for 6.5 also, but I do want to say this about our chancellor. I've been on the board for 6 years, and I have seen him move and restructure the system to the point where everybody wins. That the whole system has been improved greatly. And so I just wanted to speak to his extraordinary leadership. He knows it. I've been an adversary sometimes, but
He hasn't noticed.
He hadn't noticed. But I just think we're all proud of him. We are just all proud of what he's done, what the staff has done, and what the whole system has done. And the system has moved in the right direction. But there's still work to do in regards to Black students. So I'll hold my comments until the next item, but I would like to speak first then.
Absolutely. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. All right. So Chancellor, I'm gonna, I feel like I need to say just one thing. Most of this has absolutely been said by my colleagues on the board. And you have made reference to it as well, and that is the disaggregation of demographic information that will help really focus the questions and the decision-making relative to adult learners and our students of color. This has been a system analysis, absolutely correct, but I'm hoping that we get to dig down deeper and look at those numbers and that data relative to African American, Latino, low-income students, gender, all of those areas, because it will help to focus what we need to do, one as a system, but also hopefully what each of our districts and colleges need to do relative to their demographics. And so part of this is about leading by example. And I think that we're really trying to do that, and so is the Chancellor's office. And I want to commend you on this presentation.
Thank you.
So with that, I'd like to move to item 6.5, which is
President Haynes?
Yes. Oh, public comment. Thank you. Public comment. Is there public comment?
The public comment period for item 6.4 is now open. Please use the raise hand feature to make a comment to the board. If you are calling in, press *9. A member of the Chancellor's office will call on you and allow you to speak. You have a maximum of 3 minutes. We did not receive any written comments on this item, and I will hand it over to Gary for any hands raised.
So we do have Debbie Klein with her hand raised. Debbie, you can unmute yourself and address the board.
Thank you. Good morning, President Haynes, Vice President Costa, Chancellor Oakley, and members of the Board of Governors. I'm Debbie Klein, President of the Faculty Association of California Community Colleges. FAC appreciates the progress that was highlighted. However, we are concerned that while our transfer degrees have increased by 62%, our transfer rate to UC and CSU has only increased by 10%. It's clear that our transfer degrees do not yet guarantee student transfer, and I know the Chancellor addressed this, and we would agree. We are also concerned that the system's divestment from faculty during these past 2 decades plus correlates with the slow progress on the Vision for Success goals. The research shows that when our students have access to their faculty and when the faculty are supported, our students succeed. On this note, we have some hot off the press good news to share with everyone in case you haven't heard. This morning, the Senate has proposed $245 million for faculty support, including part-time faculty office hours, part-time faculty compensation, and an increase of ongoing funding for full-time faculty hiring. We encourage the Chancellor's Office to prioritize advocacy and support of the Senate's proposal for faculty funding. By reinvesting in faculty, we will be able to do a better job supporting our students and achieving their diverse educational goals. Thanks.
And that is the only hand that we had raised.
Thank you so much. Thank you for keeping me on my toes. Our next item is 6.5, which is the 2021-22 state budget update. And we have Vice Chancellor Navarrete presenting.
Good morning, Board President Haynes, Vice President Costa, and members of the Board of Governors. Lizette Navarrete, Vice Chancellor for College Finance and Facilities Planning. Thank you very much for the opportunity to present a brief summary of the May revision. And then I will also provide an outline, an overview of this very fast moving timeline and leave time for questions. So again, thank you. Let's move to the next slide, please. So the Board of Governors, as you may recall, framed its system budget request on a plan for an equitable recovery, really centering its advocacy on positioning community colleges as the state's strategic plan to reemerge from this, this pandemic stronger and more equitable. And we've framed all of our work, our messaging, our conversations, our advocacy around this core theme. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned, I'll provide a brief overview of the May revision as presented by the governor to the legislature, an overview of what's proposed for California community colleges, some next steps, including some very fast-moving elements that are under consideration by the legislature this week, and then again, provide time for questions. Next slide, please. And so Governor Newsom presented a starkly different budget to the legislature on May 14th, presenting a budget that was balanced and had resources of $267 billion. This is in comparison to the 2021 budget that included $204 billion, a dramatic change in fate, a very positive change in fate. The themes for the budget included an economic recovery for the state, for its businesses, for its Californians, and equitable opportunities for K-12 students, and debt relief, including paying back debts to K-12 and community colleges. Next slide, please. So a little bit about a state budget outlook that I want to share that will come up in future budget presentations that I make to you. The administration projects total revenues at $203 billion with a surplus of $75 billion. This includes over $25 billion from federal relief funds through the stimulus package, the American Rescue Plan. Another term that you may have heard or presented and discussed, and I want to familiarize you with that because we will bring back this term more in future budgets. It's something called the state allocation limit, known as the SEL or the GAN limit. The state of California is expected to exceed its constitutional apportionment limit by approximately $16 billion. The Constitution requires the state to split these excess revenues above the limit between education, K-14 education, and direct rebates to taxpayers. So the May revision proposes that taxpayers will get a refund this year in 21-22, but that K-14 education would receive its portion as part of the 22-23 budget once it has reconciled final amount. So again, the community college portion is expected in 22-23. So I want to mention that because again, it'll reemerge in future conversations. Next slide, please. For Prop 98 for community colleges, again, a drastic improvement from a $7.6 billion budget enacted in 2021, the current budget that we're currently operating under, to a proposed $9.8 billion. And this includes the payback of all deferrals. Next slide, please. So the community college investments really fall under 6 key themes: restoring institutional resources, diversity, equity, and inclusion, college affordability and basic needs, pathways, workforce, and pandemic recovery. Next slide, please. Changes in funding for community colleges include $486 billion compared to 2021. And then one-time funding, there's $1.3 billion in pay down for new ongoing programs or one-time programs, and $1.4 billion for the payback of deferrals. So let me clarify that, I jumbled it a little bit. So $1.3 billion in one-time proposals, and $1.45 billion in payback of deferrals. So some major changes in the community college proposal, even from what we shared with you in January. Next slide, please. So let's talk about one of the key first steps to putting the pandemic behind us and really reemerging and focusing on recovery. And that starts with the payback of deferrals. Community colleges had to shoulder the burden of $1.45 billion in deferrals this last year in their current budgets. That meant that they borrowed from their own communities, from their counties, borrowed in the open market, or drew down the reserves in order to cover these IOUs from the state. The May revision proposes to pay down these deferrals in full, and it also proposes to pay these deferrals much faster, paying them $900 million in July and $553 million in August. And so early in the fiscal year, colleges can expect to have these resources back. Next slide, please. Also, part of the Board of Governors advocacy has been having parity in the COLA, recognizing that ongoing costs support faculty, they support staff, and they support the important work that our colleges need to take on and ensures that they're fiscally resilient during these trying times. Their advocacy really made a difference. The May revision includes a 4.05% COLA, 296.5 million additional resources for ongoing costs. The proposal also rescinds a requirement on the COLA, which would require districts to have actionable plans to close equity gaps. Instead, the proposal requires colleges to submit a plan as part of their student equity and achievement program. This program is directly tied to closing equity gaps, so there is a lot of alignment in this work. Another proposal that remains connected as a condition to receiving student equity and achievement program funds is a policy that colleges would have to increase their online offerings as compared to 2018-2019 by at least 10%. Next slide, please. And I want to thank the Board of Governors, our Board President Haynes. I know that Board President Aguinaldo also did a lot of work on elevating our diversity, equity, and inclusion. And again, many members of the board really supported their advocacy in this area, and it paid off. We see alignment with several of the elements included in the system budget request, including 20 million for equal employment opportunity programs so that colleges and districts can implement best practices to diversify our faculty and staff. The budget continues to invest in some funds for diversification of our curriculum and includes 600,000 for a work group to focus on anti-racism in curriculum. There's 1 million for the modernization of the CCC registry. And we're glad to see an investment in the very important Student Equity and Achievement Program, a 5% increase that would amount to 23.8 million. Next slide, please. On affordability and basic needs, I also want to thank the board for elevating this as a key priority, recognizing that the budget needed to put students first. And so there are two categories of investments, some ongoing, some one-time. 30 million ongoing to establish basic needs centers and hire basic needs coordinators at our campuses. 30 million ongoing to access mental health services and to support technology purchases for students. There, in the category of one-time funds, the governor proposes 150 million one-time emergency grants for our students. 100 million one time to address housing and food insecurity. And I want to highlight this proposed investment for Board Member Williams, 115 million one time to expand zero textbook cost pathways, and also provide flexibility in the language to focus on low cost textbook pathways, recognizing that some textbooks and written material have royalties that we must pay. Next slide, please. There are a few other proposals around college affordability that are notable. One that I want to highlight for our board and thank the continued advocacy of our Vice President, Board Member Costa around student housing, $4 billion for a revolving loan program for the construction or renovation of affordable student housing projects. The governor proposes that 60% of these funds would go to California community colleges, 30% would go to CSU, and 10% to UC, really aligning to the size and proportion of students that we serve. Around Cal Grants, we still have a lot of advocacy to do around this area. The proposal increases competitive Cal Grant awards by 9,000 and provides access and awards to foster youth. It still continues a requirement for high school seniors to complete the financial aid, the FAFSA application. But unfortunately, we still don't see broader reform that makes this program more inclusive to our community college students, that allows students that are older, that have been out of high school, that need costs outside of tuition to be covered by this program. So we will continue to advocate, and we hope that you'll join us in this effort. Next slide, please. Around pathways, various investments in pathway efforts, including 150 million one time to further our efforts to implement the guided pathways framework across California community colleges. For dual enrollment, the administration is recognizing the importance of joint partnerships with our K-12 districts and the opportunities that these early college pathways can provide to many students who may need additional supports during this time. So proposes 75 million one time to expand new or existing dual enrollment partnerships. And a proposal for 10 million one time for common course numbering, which would enable students to identify courses needed to complete their degree, certificate, or to transfer to a four-year institution, regardless of which district they start at. Next slide, please. Around pathways, the last two that I'll mention that are proposed by the governor, Pathways program technology that would enable students to visualize and clearly map out their educational route and trajectory so that they can be successful. We can avoid duplication and unnecessary units and support more efficient time to completion so that our students can move on to their career aspirations, get into the workforce, and we can support them along that path. And then the last one I'll mention in Pathways category is a proposal for 50 million ongoing to expand vocational training opportunities for English as a second language students, and really with a big focus on transitioning from non-credit to credit programs. Next slide, please. Around workforce, we're seeing a major investment in workforce outside of Prop 98 that ensures that there's greater alignment with the California Workforce Development Board and labor agencies so that we can strengthen our linkages across regional consortia and build on existing programs so that they can be offered to more Californians. The goal of this partnership is to put Californians back to work. And it also recognizes that Californians don't see across agency lines. They just know they need programs or services to help them get back to work, and instead puts the onus on our agencies to collaborate. Next slide, please. Workforce, I'll highlight the High Road Training partnership that would be in collaboration with the Workforce Development Board, 20 million one time to strengthen our role in these effective training partnerships. Around strong workforce, a base increase of 5% that would equal 12.4 million ongoing for this important program. Work-based learning continues to be part of the governor's proposal. He also adds an additional 10 million one time to expand work-based learning opportunities to cloud computing, zero emission technology, and supply chain fields. And then the last workforce proposal I'll highlight is competency-based education, 10 million one time to establish a work group and pilot competency-based education across our colleges. Next slide, please. The final category I'll highlight and theme within this budget is around pandemic recovery. Your earlier conversation talked about how do we get students to come back to our colleges, to see community colleges as a viable opportunity for reemployment. The governor proposes 100 million one time to boost our efforts for retention and re-enrollment, and really builds upon the work that we did in allocating the funds under the immediate action budget, where we focused and targeted the funds to districts and students that had been most disproportionately affected during the pandemic. The administration liked the way that we released these funds and included this as part of their proposal, focusing us on most affected communities across California. And then 50 million one time to help colleges transition back to in-person education. Let me talk about a proposal that is outside of Prop 98, 1 billion one time in federal funds for the California Student Aid Commission to support grants for displaced workers and help them join an educational program, start a business, or be part of a training or upskilling program. The last I'll highlight is deferred maintenance, 314 million one-time Prop 98 funds for deferred maintenance, recognizing that there's a lot of work to get our campuses prepared for in-person instruction, and 250 million one-time from the American Rescue Plan for deferred maintenance. Next slide, please. So there's still a lot of work, as you've heard Chancellor Oakley share earlier. We still are looking for investments and a modernization and reforms around Cal Grant, recognizing that it continues to be an unaddressed element of college affordability and basic needs. There's a lot of work to do to ensure that we have investments in Black student success and faculty diversification. We see some investments in our DEI proposals but not all are covered. And so in the next few weeks, we will continue to elevate the components of the system budget requests, the plan for an equitable recovery, to ensure that there is greater alignment in these shared priorities. Next slide, please. So I mentioned that this process will move very quickly. As we speak, the Senate Budget Subcommittee on Education is meeting on the community college package. We expect the Assembly to also meet this week on the community college package. We also, if you look here, one of the next key steps is announcing a conference committee. We expect that announcement to also come in the next few days. The conference committee is the joining of the Senate and the Assembly, where they confer around areas where there isn't alignment between the two houses. And there they will craft a strategy on what they want to propose as their counter offer to the governor. We do expect an on-time budget, which means that a proposal would need to be in print by no later than June 12th. So this will move very quickly. We will keep you up to date as new information comes around, and we can assure you that our advocacy will not stop throughout the next few weeks. Next slide, please. And so I covered a lot of topics, a lot of information. There's a lot to absorb in this proposal, and there will be more to absorb as the Senate and Assembly craft their imprint on the budget. So I encourage you to take a look at the joint analysis. This is the factual analysis of what is in the governor's proposal. It includes a review of trailer bill language, some budget charts and tables that make this much easier to take in. So I encourage you to take a look at that. And then next slide, I just want to end by thanking you for joining us throughout the budget cycle and advocacy, for partnering with us in elevating messages to support our students and our system as we help invest in their recovery and ensure that these resources are aligned to your goals. With that, thank you very much, and I'm happy to take any questions.
So thank you, Vice Chancellor Navarrete. We're going to start with Member Shaw and
okay,
go from there.
All right. I want to thank our Vice Chancellor and again commend our Chancellor for everything he's done for the entire system. And I just wanted to let you know that today during public comment, we're going to hear from speakers who support the full funding of three key programs, Umoja, Amend, and the HBCU programs. Now, you know, in our original request, the Chancellor's Office asked for an increase in these programs, but we were rejected. So recently there's a renewed effort to get funding. And you know, yesterday our board president spoke about the importance of intention, being resolute, determined, the importance of speaking with clarity. Well, we need to take that stance in regard to the state of Black students in our system. The reality is that even with the implementation of all of our initiatives, the Black student achievement gap remains significant. Black students are leaving the system, and Black students often feel unwelcome on campuses. To quote from a letter from those three groups, community colleges have not been able to significantly close the gap in achievement for African-American students. Colleges have received additional resources to implement initiatives like the Student Success and Support Programs, Guided Pathways, and even the passage of AB 705 has called for a greater level of accountability to improve outcomes. The persistent and pervasive gaps in African-American student outcomes remains. So I believe that we need to fund and support specifically Black students. Umoja, Amend, and HBU programs have demonstrated history of improving the lives of Black students. Just to quote a couple of accomplishments, a greater proportion of Umoja students became transfer ready within 4 years. Umoja students are likely to have completed both transfer level English and math within 3 years than their non-Umoja peers, and there are many others. So in closing, I think we need to fully fund these organizations, or support the fully funding of them. And I know right now they're speaking at the Senate hearing that that Lizette mentioned. We need to, secondly, we need targeted efforts designed specifically to retain, recruit, and move forward Black students. And then finally, I suggest that we ask our foundation to secure funds for a think tank effort. They'll look at best practices that will identify policies, initiatives, and programs that specifically aid Black students. If we're really talking about equity and the Black students have the most need, then we need to focus in that area. Thank you.
Shaw, and really thank you for your partnership and our advocacy for these efforts, and we'll continue to work side by side to make this happen.
Thank you. Thank you for your hard work. I know it's a difficult time for you. There's so much going on, but keep it moving. Thank you, Lizette.
So thank you. Are there other questions from my board members? Member Perry.
Was that a motion?
No.
No. Oh, well, that was a comment.
It was a comment. This is
So-
information.
What's needed to have board express support for what Member Shaw just presented?
So we'll take that. And so the next person who wants to speak is Member Perry.
To part of your question, Member Williams, and thank you, Member Shaw. Member Shaw, when she speaks, she moves things, so it seems like a motion. So it's more than just addressing us. As someone who sits on the Board of Governors and the foundation, I heard what you said loud and clear, and I'm sure that Member Anderson and I will take that back to the foundation and talk to them about how to use the creativity and resources of the foundation to advance the objectives you just put forth so eloquently. So thank you for that. And I also wanted to shout out to Lizette and the whole staff that put together that lobby day. It's really well put together. I'm glad to see that we also made an impact. You made it seamless and really well done. Juggling all those Zoom squares is not easy, but you set forth very clear objectives and goals for us. And I really appreciate that. And I'm happy to see that there's money in the budget for the basic needs centers. I know we need to get those funded because there's a staffing component to it, but please let us know what we can do to move that forward, as well as further expansion of the Cal Grant. I feel like you've got us moving on that lobby day, but please continue to employ us in any way, shape, or form. I think the further expansion of that Cal Grant is so vital to addressing the needs of the students and providing access to all. So don't hesitate to call upon us to do that.
Thank you. Board Member Fitzgerald.
Thank you, Madam President. I just wanted to really build upon Board Member Perry's comments. When it comes to the May Revise providing money for basic needs. First of all, it's an enormous deal that we have funding for basic needs centers. Basic needs obviously is a huge focus of students. It's the most consequential discussion students have on a daily basis. When we look at the vision for success, when we look at the areas that are highlighted as the most important for us to focus on, the Inland Empire, the Central Valley, basic needs is the center at every conversation. And while I admire and while I think it's critical that we have this funding for basic needs centers, I think like Member Perry said, it's critical that we also continue to move this forward and move the momentum forward. And I think that that funding is not enough in terms of the total conversation. I think what we need is to lead on this issue. We need statewide direction, and that statewide direction needs to be led by students. And I thought that there would be momentum on that after September when we passed a resolution. And that resolution highlighted our commitment to basic needs and highlighted the fact that we would, be taking action and be looking at a committee that would exist to really look at financial aid and the totality of the conversation around basic needs, not just centers, not just basic needs coordinators, but really get down into the reality of the issue that the cost of college, the true cost of college is far greater than many imagine. And that financial aid doesn't do its job necessarily in supporting students. I think that we might need to bring that resolution back. I think that resolution might need to change. I think that if we're serious about fighting for basic needs, that we'll use the momentum from this conversation around the basic needs centers and basic needs coordinators, and we'll include the staff at those colleges and the basic needs coordinators in statewide conversations, maybe in committees or some sort of committee. I think that the directors of these centers should be included in these conversations as we think about how to best support basic needs. So I just hope that these conversations come back, and I would really hope that that resolution comes back and that we put a greater focus on basic needs and moving forward.
Thank you, Member Fitzgerald. Member Epstein and then Member Anderson. You're on mute.
Thank you. I just wanted to, first of all, thank the governor for including so many new resources to the community colleges. I think that's fantastic. I hope that we can also make some progress in the county reform as well. But mostly I just wanted to kind of back Member Shaw. You know, I've traveled to a lot of colleges and I've met with students in almost every place. And one thing that became crystal clear to me is that the, I'm sorry about that, is that hands-on interpersonal counseling and advice and support for disadvantaged students was critically important. I mean, I met so many students who said that, you know, whether it be Umoja or Puente or any of the other programs, you know, for foster youth and everybody, and formerly incarcerated, that kind of hands-on guidance is critical to the success of students. And so, you know, what Member Shaw was talking about was not a lot of money, but it has a big multiplying impact. And I just wanted to reiterate my support for that.
Thank you. Member Anderson.
Thank you. I had a quick question about learning disabilities. And, you know, in this budget, if there were incremental dollars, in talking to a number of students throughout the system, you know, as a dyslexic person who put himself through community college and has dealt with learning disabilities all my life, I know in times like this, it exacerbates that and it affects all people across color, you know, all the categories. And so I was wondering, because I didn't see anything highlighted on that, what did the governor's office, what is there to go ahead and highlight and to put incremental resources in the time of crisis for people with learning disabilities that need incremental help?
Thank you, Board Member Anderson. I'll mention a couple of investments and opportunities within the proposal for this focus. One is the governor proposes a COLA for DSPS services, which directly serve students. That's one of them. Another opportunity is an investment for $10.6 million in resources that help in terms of our online infrastructure. One of the elements within that is to ensure that our resources that are presented for learning are accessible to students. That was one of the core elements of why that request was made. And so if our hope is that these investment dollars remain in there, because then those services and those learning resources can be provided in accessible formats to students across the state, and not necessarily have to rely on individual colleges to make an additional purchase for their own. It's a more balanced implementation approach to that effort.
It sounds like those resources aren't targeted, they're more broader spread, and that the individual campuses will have to determine where they go. I just hope, and we can talk about this offline, I just hope that somebody's addressing this concern. I know that a number of people are really, really challenged. If you're like me and have a focus problem, the internet hasn't been easy. And so to go ahead and sit in front of a screen all day long is a real challenge. And we need additional resources for those kids, either tutoring or another outside entity, because just, giving me a faster broadband doesn't help me as being learning disabled.
Thank you. Absolutely. We'll build some of those conversations into our next request as well. I appreciate you elevating that.
We have a question or comment from Member Williams.
Yeah, I just, was thinking about what Member Anderson just spoke about, and just wanted to express support for strong student support services that help them be able to navigate in this hybrid, because I know some folks that signed up to go to school and did not intend to be online for a whole year. And so it is very, very interesting. And I want to express support for, pretty much everything that folks have said. What Member Charlotte said about the A2Men, and I know it was rejected previously, but whatever we can do to support Black students, I'm supportive of that, interested in all students, but specifically those three programs, would like to see what can happen. And even how those programs support, students to have learning disabilities, and, do they have interventions that fall in line with what Member Anderson is saying? So just wanted to add to that. And I don't know if the board needs to provide any more directional support around the textbook issue. I really would like to see, resources applied to get a plan on what possibly can happen around textbooks for students too.
Thank you so much, Board Member Williams. So before I go to public comment, that's my cue that I remember we have to go to public comment. I just would like to add my thank you and my support for all of the work that that the advocacy team in the Chancellor's office has done, and keeping focused our students and their needs. So thank you so very much. And I think that's really important, this area of thank you, because there is money and there is focus on community colleges. And so the critique and the questions that have been offered are really about this issue around equity, and then how those dollars are allocated. There is a role for the Board of Governors to play, but we really do need to work in collaboration with the 116 colleges and the 73 districts to help to ensure that that there's an understanding, and in many cases there is, because they know who their students are, they know what those challenges are. It really is about this equity quotient of who's there and who's not, who's enrolled and who's not, and why not. And so that really becomes the key. But I will say this, that I do have and I understand why. Intellectually, I understand why. In my heart, I have a real challenge around our inability to change that dynamic in Cal Grants. That can make such a difference for our students. And it is, once again, it is a data point, it is a funding point that every time we have to go back to. And while we've made these incremental changes, I'm in favor of we doing it faster. And I realize that may be unrealistic, but I'm going to say it. We have got to change who our adult learners are. They're not just 18-year-olds. They're not just staying in their families' homes. they are the ones that need the most help because they are the ones who have to go out and try to get a job, and they're in and out. And I guess my temperature and my voice goes up because I sit here, and in 1964, I was an 18-year-old high school graduate who went into the system for 2 years, went out. I graduated from UCLA in 1980. That is a 16-year trajectory. I don't want that pathway for anybody like me. I don't want that. I don't want that to be the going. That's how we educate our low income students. That is the acceptable norm. It cannot be, else we're never going to get where we need to go. So I say that with all due respect, and I know the work that goes into it. I just feel like it needs to be said. So with that, thank you so much for all of your efforts. And I'm now ready to hear public comment.
The public comment period for item 6.5 is now open. Please use the raise hand feature to make a comment to the board. If you are calling in, press *9. A member of the Chancellor's office will call on you and allow you to speak. You will have maximum of 3 minutes. We did not receive any written comments on this item, and I will hand it over to Gary for hands raised.
So we do have a few hands raised. We'll start with Debbie Klein. You have control of your mic and can address the board.
Thank you. Good morning again, President Haynes, Vice President Costa, Chancellor Oakley, and members of the Board of Governors. This is Debbie Klein, President of the Faculty Association of California Community Colleges. In a recent legislative position letter, you all may have seen it, the Vice Chancellor of Government Relations stated that to resolve concerns regarding pay equity, we encourage an investment in full-time faculty positions. While we disagree with the position on the specific legislation, we agree with this statement in support of funding for faculty. As I just mentioned a few minutes ago, this morning, the Senate proposed $245 million for faculty support, and we would encourage the Chancellor's office to prioritize advocacy and support of the Senate's proposal for faculty funding. Additionally, we support the governor's revised proposal of fully paying down the deferrals and increasing the COLA. This will allow our colleges to be on better financial footing and maintain capacity to serve our students. Thanks.
Thank you.
Next, we have T. Aldridge. You have control of your mic and can address the board.
Good morning, Board of Governors, President Haynes. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, you're coming loud and clear.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm speaking on this particular budget item. I am respectfully requesting that the board reconsider the 21-22 budget legislative request that was proposed in September that particularly asked to include full funding for the Umoja program, A2Men, and HBCU. So what would this funding provide? This funding would provide, it would help to reverse the dramatic decrease in Black and Latinx students whose enrollment fell to below 12% during the pandemic. It would help build institutional capacity. It would create a systems approach to Black student success, where we are able to take students, put them in a learning community, provide mentorship and transfer. It would expand the only recognized Black student success programs in the community college system, that's Umoja, AMEN, and HBCU, would stamp out the triple pandemic of the COVID and economic loss and social injustice that are burdening our students right now. So I am respectfully requesting full funding of Umoja, A2Men, and HBCU to be able to provide a refuge and a safe haven for our Black students plagued with systemic racism on our college campuses. And so the specific request that you proposed back in September was a $3.5 million ongoing for Umoja, a $1.3 million fully funding the HBCU transfer program, and $1.2 million for expansion of the A2Men chapter. So thank you very much. And I highly recommend that you please reconsider this request. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Next, we have Eric Payne. You have control of your mic and can address the board.
Good evening, commissioners, Madam Chair Haynes, Chancellor Oakley, and other supporting staff. My name is Eric Payne. I'm the Executive Director of the Central Valley Urban Institute based in Fresno, California. And our work is centered and grounded in equity and justice. We represent the voices of hundreds of thousands of low-income families here in the Central Valley. And more specifically, our community of interest that I'll be speaking to today will be that of African-American families. Because whether or not it's known, Black families are here in the Central Valley and we do exist. And I'd like to elevate this conversation and thank the Chancellor for his commitment to launching and initiating an African-American task force to look at the needs of African-American families across the state of California with a listening tour. I recognize that as we look to an equitable recovery in this pandemic within frontline communities across the state who've been hit first and worst by this pandemic and its jarring impacts, we know that our African-American students are at the bottom. And I would like to ask that this board please invest its resources in funding and fully implementing that plan to meet the needs of those African-American students across the state. We know that there is much work to be done, and in order to accomplish this work, our students need to have the adequate resources to make it through the finish line, because sometimes our students have to run faster, jump higher to get to that finish line of completion. And so I'm going to pause for a second and say, give an assay and thank the State Chancellor's Office, Vice Chancellor Gonzalez, Vice Chancellor Lizette, for all of your hard work in creating the space to have these conversations, but most importantly, to combat public health and the racism that exists within our public health system, specifically against those students and the structures that exist, that the necessary investments be made to mitigate these issues as we look to turn a tide and get through this pandemic on a healthy, equitable road to recovery. And I'd like to thank the Governor's Office for their May revise to ensure—
That is time.
Oh, yes, thank you. And I'll close my comments there. Thank you.
Thank you.
And our next public comment is Helen Young. You have control of your mic and can address the board.
Good morning, Board of Governors, President Haynes, and the entire Chancellor's Office staff. I am Helen Young, Project Director for the California Community College Transfer Guarantee Pathway to Historically Black Colleges and Universities. In the past 5 years, our program has had a number of successes achieved. We began with this program in 2016 with a mere 9 HBCU partner institutions. And now in 2021, we are proud to have 39 institutions that represent various regions of this country, enrollment, demographics, and academic programs. Additionally, we have transferred over 400 students to these various partner institutions over the last 5 years. The persistence rates for these students is at 75%. Average time to completion is 2.7, and 123 students who have obtained their bachelor's degree at our HBCU partner institutions. We ask that you support fully funding Umoja, Amend, and HBCU transfer pathway organizations to provide an opportunity to create strategic planning and institutional capacity building for African-American Black students and allow for continuous programmatic expansion at all of our California community colleges. These organizations are the only recognized Black student success programs in the state and in our colleges that continue to provide support for these students and our efforts. We are requesting a $7.5 million to continue and to deeply enhance the work that supports Black student success. We must be bold and courageous as we follow the money. Umoja, Amend, and this program are three of the most vital programs that support statewide Black student success. And with this additional funding support, I am confident that our programs will continue to reach, meet, and exceed our goals. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And that concludes our public comment. There are no other hands raised.
Thank you very much. And there are no questions on this item. I'd like to move to item 6.6, the state and federal update. Vice Chancellor O'Brien presents.
Madam President, may I say a quick word, just to clarify some
Yes.
of the questions that came up?
Absolutely.
I think it's important, particularly for the public, to understand that first and foremost, we absolutely support the Board of Governors request that was made. That continues to be the request. And that continues to be our advocacy. Second, it is the governor's budget that was proposed, not the Board of Governors budget that was proposed. We are working to, with the governor's office and with both budget committees of the legislature, that's where the budget is now. So I would encourage everyone to advocate in the budget process in the legislature now, because while I appreciate all of the sentiments that were raised, we are very supportive of our partners at Amen and certainly Moshe and all the other programs that were discussed. So that we will continue to advocate on behalf of the Board of Governors.
I appreciate that, Chancellor. Let me do a time check. It's 11:36. I really want to get us out of complete our business. I'd like to get a poll. We can do this one of two ways. If you need to sort of take a break, you can do so sort of as we go along, or we can take maybe a 5-minute break here. Can I get a raise of hands from our board members? Your preference. Go as you deem appropriate, or do you want to take like a 5-minute break? Raise of hands. Okay, we've got one hand raised. 2 hands raised.
To keep going.
To keep going. Okay. All right. Then we'll do that. We'll absolutely do that because we're almost there. So the next item is 6.6, the state and federal update. Vice Chancellor O'Brien, please.
Thank you so much, Board President Haynes, Chancellor Oakley, and members of the board. We will indeed keep going. I will try to be as quick as possible. I am David O'Brien, Vice Chancellor for Governmental Relations. Good to see everyone. My item is going to cover a lot, and I want to apologize in advance that unlike Vice Chancellor Navarrete, I don't have a very neat and professional slide deck for you. So trust me when I say I'm taking notes on that. And next time I have an item this substantive, I will try to have a visual component to continue to compete with Lizette. Not that I could ever hope to do so. Item 6.
But you can try to compete.
Thank you. I'll do my best, President Haynes. I'll do my best.
All right, very good.
Item 6.6 has 2 attachments. As per usual, there's a state policy and advocacy update and a federal policy and advocacy update. I'll try to move through them pretty quickly, at least on my end, because I want to allow for questions, discussion, or public comment. This is a very timely update, and a lot of my topics today are going to overlap with what Vice Chancellor Navarrete covered in the budget update, and that's just reflective of how quickly things move this time of year and how flexible and adaptable we all need to be. Those of you that worked at the legislature know that oftentimes around May, June is when they're sort of between the legislature and the governor, things are getting plucked out of bills, put into budget trailer bills, and vice versa. And so there's a lot of overlap and a lot of coordination between CFFP and GR here at the Chancellor's office. So looking at the state policy and advocacy update, I want to start off, I would be remiss if I did not thank those board members who participated in our annual Advocacy Day, virtual Advocacy Day last month. It was our second annual virtual Advocacy Day, and definitely our last one that will be virtual, but it was a huge success, as a couple of you have noted. As usual, we saw big commitments from the legislature to support California community colleges, our students, and the vision for success. And now Vice Chancellor Navarrete and Chancellor Oakley and I are all working hard to make those legislators follow up on those commitments that they made last month. I also want to thank those of you that participated in our first ever social media advocacy week the following week. That was a lot of fun. We had a lot of engagement from not just within our system, but key external partners as well. And finally, if you were able to join our Advancing Racial Equity Advocacy Town Hall, part of that week last month, many thanks again for your time and support. That event was also a success, and we received substantial praise from our partners for continuing the critical discussion about racial equity and making the connection with our elected officials, right? Bringing them into the discussion. And so we want to thank Congressman Mark Takano and State Assembly members Reggie Jones Sawyer and Eloise Gomez Reyes for their participation, and especially the student leaders who participated in our student panel, which Vice Chancellor Navarrete so capably moderated. The last note I have on our Advocacy April, as we called it, is I want to thank those of you that filled out the follow-up survey that we sent out about the virtual advocacy visits. That was very important that we collect your feedback. It was all constructive and helpful and will be incorporated into future advocacy events. So thank you so much for that. Okay, moving on to state legislation. This is the meat of today's update. This is one of the busiest times of the year in the legislature. Last Friday was a key deadline. It was what we call the suspense deadline. That's the last day of the year that so-called fiscal bills, which is any bill that's determined to cost money, which is nearly all bills, have to pass out of the first House Appropriations Committee so that they can then advance to a floor vote and onto the second House. To give you a sense of the volume, what the legislature is working with this year, of the more than 800 bills that were heard in these marathon Assembly and Senate appropriation suspense hearings last week, and if you have not seen or witnessed one of those before, I encourage you to tune in, or otherwise just watch an auction, Sotheby's type auction, because it's very similar. About 1/4 of all legislation did not advance. The night before the suspense hearing, Senate and Assembly leadership sent out a notice to all members that they expect members to limit their bill packages to 12 bills per member, advancing into the second House. And again, to give you a sense of the size and scope, they typically introduce between 40 and 50 bills per member per year. So that's less than half of all bills. We refer to bills that did not pass last Friday's critical deadline and are therefore dead for the year as being held on suspense. For purposes of this today's update, in the interest of time, I won't be covering bills that were held on suspense because as I said, they're no longer active. They're considered dead for the year. So we're going to focus our time and attention on those bills that are still active. As of today, Government Relations is tracking 54 active Tier 1 bills, which is the term we use for the highest tier bills in terms of their public profile or their effect on the community college system, good or bad. Since we last met, we've adopted positions on 12 new Tier 1 bills. Again, in the interest of time, I'm not going to cover all 12 of those, but happy to take any questions at the conclusion of the update. I just want to focus on some of the highest profile bills. And as you look, I apologize that there aren't actual page numbers on the attachment, but these new bills start on what is page 3 of the PDF attachment, State Policy and Advocacy Update. We talked about it a lot in the budget update, so I'll be very quick. Assembly Bill 775 by Assemblymember Mark Berman. This is a critical effort co-sponsored by our Student Senate and John Burton Advocates for Youth that would require the establishment of a basic needs center and the identification of a basic needs coordinator on every campus. This obviously aligns perfectly with the administration's proposal to fund this in the May revised budget. So even though it says support if amended in the item, We will be moving that position to a full support, and just want to take a moment to thank the sponsors, especially our student leaders, for their leadership on this critical issue. We're pleased to support you and to support this effort. Moving on with some of the higher profile bills of the new position, I want to note that we are, of course, opposing Assembly Bill 1432, which would eliminate Calbright College. We continue to be disappointed by this, this effort to, quite frankly, to deny opportunities to displaced workers and adult learners in California, which is such an important component of recovering with equity. And then finally, among these new bills, again, moving pretty quickly, I want to point out Assembly Bill 1456, the Cal Grant Reform Act, co-authored by Assembly members Jose Medina and Kevin McCarty and Senator Connie Leyva. I believe we had brought this to you with a supportive amended position the last time we met. Since then, we're pleased to note that the authors and sponsors have adopted the amendments that we and several other stakeholders requested. And so we are now in full support of this critical legislation to place us on a pathway to true equity and financial aid and affordability for our students. The next step, as the Chancellor referenced and Vice Chancellor Navarrete referenced, and as we discussed in the state budget update, is to make a strong advocacy push over the next several days and weeks for funding for Cal Grant reform in the state budget. And we are pleased to be joined by a chorus of stakeholder voices calling for this funding. Our students, many of our colleges and districts, many of you, our consultation council partners, and critical advocacy partners such as Education Trust West and the Campaign for College Opportunity, among many others, are supporting us in this effort. And so please stay tuned. Thank you for your support and partnership for our students. Having worked on this issue for several years in my previous capacity, I think it's safe to say we're closer than we've ever been on this issue, but it is critical, especially in a year with as significant a budget surplus as we have, to advocate for our funding to fund Assembly Bill 1456. Board members, before I wrap up the state update and see if there are any questions, I want to highlight a couple of bills that are not being brought to you with an official position just yet. To emphasize that this doesn't mean we're not engaging on these bills. It just means that they're not in a place where we're taking a position, an official public position on the legislation at this time. These start on what's page 9 of this attachment. Assembly Bill 927 by Assembly Member Jose Medina is the legislation you have heard about to expand the community college's ability to offer baccalaureate degrees. We hope to move to a full support position on this bill soon. I just want to give you a quick update as to why we're not quite in full support yet, which is that we're working with the sponsors, San Diego Community College District and others, and the author to ensure that there is language in there that guarantees that only the Chancellor's office has the final authority to approve the establishment of new baccalaureate programs. There is language in the bill as written, which creates a consultative process if either of our four-year partners, UC or CSU, feel that a proposed new baccalaureate program in our system might be duplicative of one of the programs they offer. We understand that concern, and the legislature has made clear that they want to respect this non-duplication principle. However, the final word on approval of programs does have to be with the Chancellor's office, and it cannot be with any other system of higher education. And so we're working to ensure that there is language in there that makes clear that only the Chancellor's office has that approval. And once it is, we anticipate moving to a full support on that legislation. I want to highlight a couple of other bills that are very high profile, some of which, again, we've talked about or referenced already today. Assembly Bill 928 by Assemblymember Mark Berman is sponsored by the Campaign for College Opportunity. This is the Transfer Reform Act that many of you, again, have heard about. We continue to work with the author and sponsors on a series of amendments that we feel would improve this legislation and get it closer to the goal of actually improving transfer for our students. In all candor, board members, we don't feel it's quite there yet. As it is, the bill creates a significant amount of new workload and resources would be required of the community college system, which has already done so much to support students and put them on that transfer pathway. We want to see more of a true partnership and a commitment from our four-year partners. And that is what we continue to work with the author and sponsors on. However, the bill is advancing through the legislature. It made it off of the Assembly Appropriations suspense file with some amendments last week that we believe do reduce the resource and workload impact somewhat. And so we're pleased to see that, but we're continuing to engage in those discussions. Relevant to what we discussed yesterday, Assembly Bill 1040 by Assemblymember Almore Suchi, sponsored by Los Angeles Community College District, would essentially codify the regulatory requirement that the board heard yesterday on first reading around the requirement for ethnic studies courses. Would be effective starting with the 2022-23 academic year. And I want to note that we've intentionally avoided taking an official position on this legislation while the regulations have been working their way through our 5C curriculum committee and to the board. We're pleased that the author and sponsors have accepted amendments to further align with the 5C regulations with that language so that there's no conflict. However, it does continue to be our feeling that the regulations offer a flexibility and adaptability that statutory changes do not. I mean, changes to statute do require running a bill, and that is a complex and time-consuming process. So the author and sponsors are aware of this. We're continuing to have that conversation. And we are keeping them updated on the status of the regulations being heard before the board, just as we will keep you updated on the status of this legislation. There's one more bill I want to highlight, and then I want to stop and see if there are questions or discussion on the state legislation portion of the update. It's Assembly Bill 1111, also by Assemblymember Mark Berman. This bill requires the adoption of a system of common course numbering throughout the community colleges system. This was a recommendation of the Governor's Recovery with Equity Task Force and final report. And again, as you heard in Vice Chancellor Navarrette's update, the Governor's May revised budget proposes $10 million in funding to begin this process, starting with those courses in what's called the CID system. A lot of the conversations thus far around this legislation have been around the workload and the resource impact to our system. I mean, there's no way, the easy way to put it, that it would be a significant impact and require a lot of resources to adopt a common system of course numbering across hundreds of thousands of courses at 116 colleges and 73 districts, all governed by their own board of trustees with their own academic senates, serving over 2 million students. This is significant. However, we're very appreciative of the governor's proposal for funding in the May revised budget. That's a significant step toward ensuring this proposal can be implemented with integrity and with fidelity throughout our system. We'll continue to work with campuses on a comprehensive estimate of the cost of this undertaking and advocate for that amount from the state budget. But just wanted to update you on the status and let you know that that is a proposal that is moving forward both through the legislative process and the budget process. So it seems likely to happen sooner rather than later. Recognizing that I covered a lot under the state legislative update and I have a brief federal update as well, I wanted to pause and see if there are questions or comments from board members on any of the state legislation I discussed or any that I did not discuss.
I see one of our board members, Board Member Fitzgerald, you have a question?
Yes, thank you, President Haynes, and thank you, Vice Chancellor O'Brien, for that very detailed update. First of all, briefly, very pleased with reaching parity with 1456. That's enormous. I know the conversations have been happening for quite some time. Ever since I joined this board, 291 kind of evolved into that conversation, and parity was reached between the Assembly and the Senate. So, you know, relating to the conversation about basic needs, that's huge. And so I'm really glad about that. I wanted to bring a bill to the forefront of the discussion real quick. AB 337 would give the first year student Board of Governors member a full rights and privileges. Obviously, you know, Yuli and I are very supportive, students across the state very supportive of this initiative. We believe it's imperative in ensuring the student perspective is adequately represented in policymaking decisions and discussions here. And then, you know, more specifically, you know, when I took the reins as a member of the Board of Governors, when Yulia took the reins, giving the governor's signature, we're prepared for this role. And so there's no reason the first year student member of a Board of Governors shouldn't have a full voting privilege. Just wanted to understand kind of what the reasoning is behind the lack of support there as it stands.
Thank you, Board Member Fitzgerald. Quickly, big thanks to you, Board Member Tarasova, and your fellow student leaders in the SSCCC. And just want to reciprocate President Kodur's comment yesterday that working with the SSCCC this year has been, I think, by far the most productive and collaborative relationship probably this Chancellor's office has had with the Student Senate since I've been working in higher education, or that I'm aware of. On that particular bill, we simply feel it would not be appropriate, since the Chancellor's office and the Chancellor report to the Board of Governors. For all intents and purposes, you serve as our, or at least Chancellor Oakley's bosses, so to speak, that it would not be appropriate for us to weigh in on legislation affecting the composition or voting rights. I see, of course, we have the Lieutenant Governor on the board now. We very intentionally did not take a public position on the legislation to add the Lieutenant Governor as a voting member of the board last year either. Again, it's an issue of conflict of interest for us and nothing else. So we're obviously very supportive of continuing to elevate and uplift student voices.
So let me just clarify. The Chancellor's office is not recommending a position just out of conflict of interest, but the Board of Governors itself can still take a position on the bill and insist a stance of support.
Let me weigh in at this point. The Board of Governors is appointed by the governor. I think the appropriate advocacy should be where the authority lies. I think it complicates the issue to weigh in on items that the Board of Governors does not have direct authority over. So that's, I will say that from my perspective. It has less to do with the conflict of interest. And again, the example, and as the Lieutenant Governor knows, very much support her being here, but I could not weigh in directly because we also have the Speaker of the Assembly on some of the other boards, or the Superintendent of Public Instruction. And those are questions for the governor. Those are questions for the legislature. So I think if the Board of Governors wants to directly advocate with its appointing authority, that's certainly up to you. And that's certainly within your, but I cannot put the Chancellor's office in a position that is in between the appointing authority and the legislature.
Thank you, Chancellor, for that clarification. I just want to make it very clear. The student members of the Board of Governors would absolutely encourage that direct advocacy to ensure that 337 is directly supported by the Board of Governors. We need to be leading as a community college board on empowering students. Thank you.
Are there other questions on this report before we go to the federal presentation? I don't see any other hands. So David, why don't you take us into the federal report presentation?
Absolutely, President Haynes. And there may be those in public comment who want to weigh in on some of the state legislation in just a moment. But briefly, I will cover just a couple of exciting updates and very substantive updates on the federal side. We are hoping and planning to bring you a comprehensive update on federal proposals and issues at a future board meeting sometime this year, because we know there's a lot going on. And as several of you noted during the State of the System update, Chancellor Oakley, this board, and our team, California Community Colleges, do have a national impact, and we have a voice at the federal level, especially now with longtime community college advocate and ally, Dr. Jill Biden in the White House, and California's own Kamala Harris serving as vice president. We arguably have the biggest voice we've had at the federal level, maybe ever, on higher education issues. So it will be important for us to bring you that update, a comprehensive update. Again, I promise, Madam President, with a slide deck and some nice visuals later this year. But just a brief note that late last month, President Biden introduced his comprehensive American Families Plan. You may have noticed that this president does not believe in going small. It's go big or go home with the Biden-Harris administration. And the American Families Plan included several major proposals that we are generally supporting and certainly tracking and engaging with, such as proposal to provide 2 years of tuition-free community college nationwide, which we're of course tracking and monitoring. And as obviously this board knows all too well, this has a lot of questions for California, because in addition to having historically low tuition at $46 per unit. And I can hear Dr. Hetz reminding me that it's not technically tuition, but for purposes of this discussion, tuition, we also waive tuition for somewhere around half of our students through our generous state-funded financial aid programs. And so we're looking to this proposal and others in Congress to continue to support states like California, where it's the total cost of attendance of those non-tuition costs that are the biggest factor. The American Families Plan also includes a substantial increase in the maximum Pell Grant award, which would help address that total cost of attendance. Strongly supportive of that. Relevant to the statewide conversation around basic needs centers and this holistic approach to addressing student needs, one of the most exciting proposals in the American Families Plan is a $62 billion proposal for colleges to increase retention and completion strategies, particularly by supporting underserved students through wraparound support services such as childcare, mental health services, and other evidence-based programs. This again is very exciting and innovative, and something that could be a major benefit to California community colleges and our students if it does get passed by Congress. And then finally, I want to note, very relevant to Member Shaw's advocacy. And I was fortunate enough to have Member Shaw on my advocacy team for our visits last month around supporting Black students. The American Families Plan includes a total, when you combine the two items, of about $44 billion in new financial aid and student support grants to historically Black colleges and universities, minority serving institutions, and partner institutions. So a lot to be excited about and supportive of in President Biden's plan. We'll continue to update this board on this, and being conscious of the time, I just want to also note that we're expecting President Biden's full budget proposal to be released this week. And based on the outline we've received thus far, we anticipate this will be a very promising budget for community colleges and our students. So I will just say that having gotten my start in higher education advocacy in late 2016, early 2017, it is much more exciting and optimistic to be giving updates of this nature to you in early 2021. Or so since January of 2021. So I will stop there and see if there are any questions on the federal update as well.
So members of the board, are there any questions that you'd like David to answer? David, I think you did a slam dunk. I don't see any hands raised. So with that, is there any public comment on this item?
The public comment period for item 6.6 is now open. Please use the raise hand feature to make a comment to the board. If you are calling in, press *9. A member of the Chancellor's office will call on you and allow you to speak. You'll have a maximum of 3 minutes. We did not receive any written comments on this item, and I will hand it over to Gary for raised hands.
We do have one raised hand at the moment. It is Debbie Klein. You have control of your mic and can address the board.
Thank you. Good afternoon again, President Haynes, Vice President Costa, Chancellor Oakley, and members of the Board of Governors. I'm Debbie Klein, President of the Faculty Association of California Community Colleges. FAC is sponsoring AB 1326, Arambula, which is on its way to the Assembly floor. We're happy to say, we're just bringing this to your attention in case you weren't aware. This bill would require county human services agencies to designate a staff liaison as a point of contact for community college counselors. This is a critical bill for supporting student basic needs and connecting the dots between county services and student support. We're really excited about this bill and thank all of the folks on the call for being advocates alongside us. And we also wanted to let you know that we are very disappointed that the Chancellor's office took an opposed position on AB 1269 Garcia, which would direct the Chancellor's office to gather data on part-time faculty parity. This issue should be a priority and has been ignored for too long. How can we continue to have a two-tiered system where 70% of our faculty are part-time and our students do not have equitable access to most of their faculty? FAC will continue to support AB 375 Medina, which would increase the percentage of hours part-time faculty may teach from 67% to up to 85% of a full-time load. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other?
There are no other hands raised at this time.
All right, thank you so much. Well, moving right along, we are on 6.7, which is contracts and grants approved by the board president. Deputy Chancellor Gonzalez, you're going to present on this item?
Happy to answer any questions. This is more of an informational item. There are only 2 contracts that were approved by the board president outside of regular board meetings. There were urgent matters. One is to ensure that any emergency dollars from the state were going straight to our districts quickly. But more importantly for us, it was the ability to provide support from our communications division and upload any materials as quickly as possible. That's the $2 million, that's item 1. And then the other one is for staffing capacity in our WED division.
Are there questions from the board on that item? Doesn't look like it. So is there any public comment?
The public comment period for item 6.6 is now open. Please use the raise hand feature to make a comment to the board. If you are calling in, press *9. A member of the Chancellor's office will call on you and allow you to speak. You have a maximum of 3 minutes. We did not receive any comments on this item, and I will hand it over to Gary for hands raised.
Just a correction, it is item 6.7 that we are taking public comment for, but I do not see any hands raised.
Okay, thank you so much for that. So we are down to our last 2 items, board member reports. And so if you will raise your hand and I will acknowledge you that way. So we'll start with board member Jolena Grande.
Thank you, President Haynes. I appreciate the opportunity to give an update, and it's going to be involving the California Workforce Pathways Joint Advisory Committee. And our newest member, board member Williams, has joined us as a Board of Governors representative to the Workforce Pathways Joint Advisory Committee, and we are working diligently with Vice Chancellor Sheni Weber to make sure that the CTE plan for California is in its draft stages and ready to be presented to the field by 2022. It's a component part of the requirement for our Perkins 5 funding that we have a California state plan for career education. And we, as the Joint Advisory Committee, have been working diligently to make sure that the state has a comprehensive plan that bridges K-12 and community colleges to the workforce, and that all of our career education pathways will help us realize the vision for success of ensuring that our graduates find jobs in the career fields for which they're receiving training. So I am very excited to have the expertise of Board Member Williams, and I want to thank Board Member Rawlings for our newest chairperson of the Workforce Pathways Joint Advisory Committee. He's doing a stellar job, and I am enjoying working with both of these gentlemen and others on the Workforce Pathway.
Thank you for that. Board Member Epstein.
Thanks. I just wanted to be the first to give a shout out to our departing board member, Member Fitzgerald. I had the pleasure of visiting some colleges with him and trading stories and advice, and I was always impressed with his conscientiousness, his forceful advocacy, his principled positions, and I'm confident he's going to do very well with the banana slugs, and thereafter, and someday, we'll probably be following his bills in the legislative report. So anyhow, it's been a pleasure working with you, Colm, and best of luck.
Thank you for that. Board Member Anderson. You're on mute. Okay, good.
Sorry about that. I talked to the chancellor about I had made a commitment we were going to go to Napa to go ahead and host something. So I've asked the chancellor if we do come back in September, I'm going to host something at my new club, Wing and Barrel, on Friday, I think on the night before Colm, I don't know if you're going to be at the next board meeting, but I'd sure love for you to come. And so you'll all get an invitation, and I'd love for you to be there, and I'll be coordinating the communication through the chancellor's office.
Thank you so much for that invitation. Board Member Terasova.
Thank you, Madam President. To save my report, I just had very fruitful month with close working with the Chancellor's office in regards to advocacy, as well as the college visit organized by our fellow member Ronaldo. So I really had a great month, but it is a very sad day for me. Our fellow board members and members of the public, this is the last day for Colin Fitzgerald on Board of Governors, who is one of the greatest student advocates in higher education in California. Someone I was very fortunate to serve along with this past year, and someone I had the opportunity to be friends. Colin has served as California Community College students with unwavering passion, and now is moving on to the greater things, and I'm certain of that. I met Colin more than a year ago under very unusual circumstances, because we were both running for the president position at Student Trustee Caucus. We bumped heads that day, but as soon as I heard Colin's speech that we were also fortunate to hear multiple times during the Board of Governors meetings, I realized that I should look at other positions on the board. And at that time, I was a student trustee at my local district and had very little experience advocating. Moreover, speech writing and public speaking for that matter. But I was he was very warm and enthusiastic and treated me with respect as I had joined the caucus executive committee. And being someone with who just began the student advocating journey, and moreover, someone who doesn't have English as their native language, it meant a great deal. And looking at the past year at the Board of Governors, Colin gave me valuable lessons of ins and outs of community college system and expected nothing in return. And it really speaks volumes on what type of the person he is. The incredible subject matter expertise that Colin has demonstrated in any movement or advocacy he had joined or started. I firsthand experienced the revitalization efforts for the Student Trustee Caucus that had elevated the conversations about student enfranchisement to a completely new level, as well as Colin played the pivotal role in introducing Student Trustee Rights Bill 2 years in a row. And I hope to continue this work. Despite the pandemic challenges, Colin showed a strong commitment to uplifting the student voice and student inclusion in every room and every conversation. Whether it was DEI work or initiating the process of establishing the Student Association at Fulbright, Colin's dedication to engage students in decisions and decision-making while educating them about the community college system is invaluable legacy after Colin's term. Third, Colin's focus on institutional memory. This is really crucial for the community college system, as many of the students who are usually transferring just after 2 years, oftentimes they are unable to provide mentorship or support for the new students. And throughout the term, Colin concentrated on building the infrastructure, partnerships with various stakeholders, and the culture of every student being valued and being comfortable to share their story, which sets up the future generation of student leaders for inevitable success. Lastly, Colin has a tremendous heart. I vividly remember the first time we spoke that Colin said that he succeeds when others around him succeed. And that, I think, is one of the greatest traits that a leader can have. And it speaks volumes of what type of person Colin is. Authenticity that Colin brings with his hard work and advocacy is always so genuine and inspiring. So I just wanted to take a moment to thank you for this opportunity to get to know you and work alongside. So with bittersweet emotions, I want to congratulate Colin on completing his spectacular term at Board of Governors. And although I'm not Irish, but I do wish him the greatest luck in all his future endeavors.
Thank you for those words. We have a few more board members, Board Member Williams and then Board Member Shaw for your reports.
Yeah, those comments were beautiful. First, I just wanted to thank Member Grande for and Member Rollins for helping me get orientated to the new committee. Looking forward to the work that we'll do in that committee. And then to Member Fitzgerald, he was part of my orientation to being a member of the BOG and really just took time and kind of helped me understand some of the nuances. And as a former student and as a former student trustee, like you're top notch, dude. Like I've been in the system since I don't know, 98, and been around students, and just your knowledge of the issues. So you take the time to actually read, study, and understand the issues. Like you're not just advocating, you have depth in the actual issues, and you talk to students because I've talked to them with you. So super impressive. Anything that I can do to contribute to your success beyond this role, I'm just a phone call away. So don't hesitate. Super appreciate you and looking forward to see what you do in the future. Thank you for your service.
Member Shaw and then Member Hall.
Yes, Member Fitzgerald, I've seen a lot of students come and go, and all of them are smart, but you're wise. You're wise. And I think that really sets you apart. And I think most importantly, you have a sort of a passion for understanding the lives of others. So you have this broad view of life that most people don't have. So I want to echo what Board Member Williams just said. If there's anything I can do to help you along the way, along your journey, I'm a call away also. I just think that I just think your future is just going to be extraordinary and broad and big. You're going to have a big life and make a big difference. So congratulations.
Thank you for that. Member Hall.
Yeah, Colin, I just want to say that you're fortunate that you've been bitten by the bug, which is the political bug and the education bug. I mean, those are two great things to be bitten by, as opposed to the golf bug, for instance. So it's remarkable to me how passionate and dedicated you are to these causes. And thank God you are. You've done superb work. You're very articulate. And the thing is, most people search for a passion in their life, and you've got that. So you're very fortunate, but you're not taking it for granted, and you're doing good work, and students have all benefited by it, and we on the board have benefited by it. You came onto the board as a young man, and you're leaving as a young man, which is a good thing. So enjoy your youth, enjoy your future, and best of luck to you. And we'll try and stay in touch.
Great. And now I'm going to give Board Member Colin Fitzgerald an opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Board President Haynes, and thank you so much to everybody. I'm gonna try not to get emotional, but I am, because I already am. So I apologize in advance. Many Fridays ago, when I served as a senator in the Associated Students of Delta College, I remember emptying these ceiling-high storage cabinets that were in our boardroom in an effort to clean the boardroom. And I remember it took me like 8 hours that entire Friday. But my advisor, Shayla Walker, who was my first mentor in the system, let me use this big speaker that we had to play music. And I remember specifically J. Cole Sideline Story was playing when Shayla came through the room and let me know about an opportunity to visit Sacramento to lobby. I had never been to the Capitol before. And, that's despite living a mere 45 minutes below in Stockton. Sacramento just kind of seems so far away. And so of course I said yes. Admittedly, not knowing that lobbying was an action and not just the front of a hotel. I had no idea what was in store. And James Todd, who was our VP of instruction at the time for Delta, and my then president of my student body association, Jared Vargas, who I've made numerous remarks about here, and myself, when we arrived in Sacramento, I was shocked to find out that I'd be lobbying with the Board of Governors. And it was that day that I met some of you for the first time, and Alexis Zaragoza, and the rest is kind of history. In my 3 years in the system, excuse me, I've completed terms in local student government, regionally in the Student Senate, statewide in the Student Senate, and now as a member of this Board of Governors. I've learned so much about the power of people, about the grit of our students and of our staff and faculty, and about the love that they have for our students and the work and the love of that work. Excuse me. This is truly a system of love and hope. And that's why I really loved this position. All the work we do is grounded in love and hope, all of it. And I've witnessed firsthand so many of my fellow Stocktonians make great headway on their dreams, driven by the undying passions that lay dormant in so many of our fellow citizens, but have been unearthed by this system, unearthed by the great efforts of the many mentors of our students across the system. And I'm one such student. My dream has always been to make a difference. And so many of you on this board have helped mentor me in my service here, and have joined me in conversations and actions around student empowerment. And so I owe this entire board great thanks for your kindness and your openness of heart. And specifically, I'd like to give a great heartfelt thanks to Tom, Hildy, and Bill and Yulia for the many conversations we've had that have made me a better leader. The car rides with Tom visiting colleges in 2019, I know he mentioned that. FaceTiming Bill for his infinite wisdom as he strolled through campus doing God's work. The coffee conversations with Hildy, and the great friendship I have with Yulia. These interactions have not only made me a better leader, they've made me a better person. So thank you guys so much. Okay, now I have to gather myself because it wouldn't be a speech from me if it didn't end with an ask. In all my time on the Board of Governors, there's been one issue that I've intentionally saved for my last day, and that is the issue of equitable compensation of our student members. I reflected on whether or not to bring this conversation up for discussion many, many times, but I wanted to make no mistake about my intentions. The compensation of students on this board, in my belief and Yulia's belief, and the students across the state's belief, is not necessarily equitable. I fear that there are so many students who are just a little worse off than Yulia and I, whose voices matter so much to the statewide conversations we have around basic needs and financial aid, yet whose fiscal situation prevents them from becoming involved in great opportunities like the Board of Governors. I wonder if Jared Vargas could have effectively served in this role, knowing that the time he spent as the student trustee of San Joaquin Delta College, receiving a stipend of $400 a month, was cut short because that $400 was not enough to prevent him from homelessness. I remember him having to move from Stockton to the outer city limits in a small shed house on the farm, and his voice, one that showed me the power of leadership, so far away from the many conversations that needed it so direly. I think this board needs to take a serious look at how it compensates its students. And the bottom line is that per diem just does not work for us. I look at the UCs and I see how student regents are awarded a scholarship for the work they do, one which nearly covers their entire student experience, and wonder why this system, which values the student perspective more than any, almost in the world, hasn't considered something similar. We need a system of compensation which ensures any student, whether they be a single mother working and going to community college, whether they be Jared Vargas at his lowest fiscal point, whether they be a DACA student in the Inland Empire or Stockton, a system which would support fully these students as they served in this role with their voices. So, Madam President, as my last request to this board, I ask that it seriously consider at a close future meeting a scholarship for this board's student members, one that mirrors our sister systems, one that empowers student leadership here, one that opens the student member role of the Board of Governors to all students, and that the proposal to the board for the scholarship be jointly developed by the Student Senate and Chancellor's Office, and that the scholarship's name relate to the Vision for Success, which has called for the empowerment of student voices in this way. The bottom line is the conversations we have that impact students need desperately those students which cannot afford to serve in this role. Our empowerment of such students by means of scholarship is imperative, and the success of the Vision for Success depends on such student empowerment. So with my final request in, I again thank Board President Haynes, I thank Chancellor Oakley, I thank Deputy Chancellor Gonzalez, my fellow board members, the governor and his team who empowered me for this role, and this entire system for 2 amazing years of service. Thank you all.
So Combe, thank you so much for those last remarks of yours. I know they won't be last for when you get out into the world. So I want to give my report, and then we'll move to public comment. And I want to start with you, Combe. You both have heart and you have grit, and you are the best representation of who our students are and where their heart lies. And so we're going to take, for me, I will take your request very seriously. Where there's a will, my dad used to say, where there's a will, there's a way. And so we'll look for that. Let me also say that indeed you do make a difference, and those who sit in the seats of students do make a difference, and it's critically important to have those voices. And I'm really glad you brought forward Jared Vargas's name, because you did that at one of our board meetings, and as I was thinking about today and thinking about you, that is the person that came up, because that came from your heart. That came from your recognition of who Jared was and what he had to offer, and the reality of his life. And Jared is only, and you are only a representation of what is happening to so many of our students. And so I want to thank you for keeping that front and center. Because if we can't lose sight of that. And so you and other students continue to remind us of why we're here and what it is that we're trying to do. So again, thank you so very much. I do want to close on two other issues, and that is the graduations that have occurred across this state. And I had the opportunity to attend one, and it was a drive-by, and there was such excitement by our students. Some of them dressed up their cars. Some of them had caps and gowns on. Some had their children in the car. Some had their parents in the car. Some had their brothers and sisters in the car. And it's a reminder of that grit and that resiliency of, I got through this, I did this, I accomplished this. And it was a reminder to me of the work that we absolutely need to do and to continue to do. And I want to thank the faculty, the classified staff, the administrators who stood out in the hot sun and across this state to try to give a reality and a celebratory congratulations, however that took place, because it was really important for our students to be seen that they had actually graduated in a or got a certificate in an international pandemic, in an economy that was troubling for many of them, without jobs, trying to find a job, trying to keep a job, and for their family members who had been supportive about their graduations. This is all linear connections of why we do what we do. And then finally, I want to recognize the work that we're doing on our campuses around a call to action, around not just the call to action, but about the diversity, equity, and inclusion. This all is linkages to who we are as a system and what it is we need to continue to do and what it is that's critically important. Tomorrow will be a year in the murder of George Floyd. It is a marker, but let me say the day after that decision, Black folks were killed and are continually dying. So while there might be a moment of celebration, understand that nothing has changed. Nothing, let me just say that again, nothing has changed, because the laws and the policies and the institutions are not quick to change. So we have work to do, but we have COMB, and we have ULIA, and we have 2.1 million students searching for that dream, searching for a better life. And we are here to help them do that. So again, I want to thank everyone relative to that. And with that, I want to, I think our last item is the public forum. And I believe that Christina has gonna lead us into that with a statement.
Public forum is now open. Please use the raise hand feature to make a comment to the board. If you are calling in, use *9. A member of the Chancellor's office will call on you and allow you to speak. You have a maximum of 3 minutes. We did receive a large number of written comments, and I'll hand it over to Christina to share the details.
Board President Haynes, for public forum, there were a number of written comments received, a total of 196. In summary of the comments received, 97% are opposing or expressing concern with any COVID-19 vaccine requirement or mandate to attend the California Community College system. One comment is in agreement with a recommendation of a vaccine. 3 comments are urging to reopen the California Community College system. 1 comment is from Faculty Association of California Community Colleges, congratulating 4 award-winning faculty leaders. And 1 comment is opposing a Peralta Community College District special trustee. They have been posted to the board docs agenda for viewing. With us today on Zoom are those who wish to provide live verbal comments for public forum. My colleague Gary will call on those to make their verbal comment to the board. As a reminder, for those who have already submitted their written public comment, we have received your comment, and please ask that you do not raise your hand to allow others time to comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina.
So we'll start with Andrew Nickens. You have control of your mic and can address the board.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'll just start by saying I'm Andrew Nickens on behalf of the Student Senate for California Community Colleges. I just want to thank the board for their support of AB 775. We all know that basic needs has reached a crisis level proportions, and we need infrastructure to keep our students enrolled as a rebound from a historic decline in enrollment. Our combined efforts will help ensure our system can endure and continue to function as a strong engine of economic recovery. Second, on the issue of AB 705 compliance, we appreciate the Chancellor's Office forthcoming detailed analysis of validation reports submitted by districts, but we're confident that no district will be able to prove that their practices better serve students than what is outlined in AB 705. We expect the Chancellor's Office and strongly urge them to pursue enforcement actions to bring districts in line with best practices. We also urge that the Board of Governors evaluate the distinction between placement and enrollment and Title V to prevent any loose interpretations and ensure students enroll in classes that maximize their chance of completion. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next, we have SSCCC President. Go ahead and address the board.
Awesome. Thank you so much, President Haynes, Vice President Costa, members of the board. Stephen Couture here, President of the Student Senate. And I'm following up on Andrew, and thank you so much for your support of those legislations, but I'm here to congratulate and thank both of our Board of Governors student members for their continued service over the past year. Yulia, it has been an awesome and pleasure to serve with you, and I look forward to the big things ahead over your next year. But to BOG Member Fitzgerald, it has been an awesome ride. You should be very proud of all of your accomplishments over the past couple of years. Thank you so much for your fearless advocacy, for your support of all 2.1 million students. You know, no matter what issue was put in front of you, you advocated on behalf of all of those students. It's evident your passion, even with your final report, your mic drop, still continuing to advocate for those students. You've held numerous positions where you were able to amplify and empower the student voice. You were a student body president. You were, communications officer for Region 5, the student trustee caucus president, but Board of Governors member. But I want to say that the most awesome title that I've ever been able to bestow upon you was my friend. So I appreciate all of the work you've done. Keep your head up. I know you're going to do great things in the future. And just thank you so much for your advocacy on behalf of all 2.1 million students.
Next, we have Christy Sepulveda Burkett. You have control of your mic and can address the board.
Hello, this is Christy Sepulveda Burchett. I'm from Educate Advocate. Educate Advocate is a statewide grassroots nonprofit organization that serves families who have children with disabilities and special needs. And I'm here today to speak on the 2021-01 advisory on mandated COVID-19 vaccinations in California, community colleges that was submitted to CEO's listserv, CSSO's listserv, and CBO's listserv on May 7, 2021. On page 7 of the advisory, it states, among the exemption-related issues college districts will need to consider are the following, and one of the items states, for individuals claiming an exemption, the district will need to provide an individualized interactive process to identify appropriate accommodations, which may involve adjustment to job duties, remote work or learning, isolation of individuals on campus locations, ventilation, limiting interactions, mask requirements, social distancing, testing, symptom reporting, and contact tracing. Imposing these kinds of draconian actions for these students and staff with exemptions is unprecedented. We have never asked those with an exemption, for instance, to the measles vaccine, which is more highly contagious, to wear masks or isolate or to test, social distance, and to do contact tracing on them. In fact, the community college system in California has never had a vaccine requirement, period. It is immoral, unethical, and discriminatory to segregate and isolate students and staff. This goes against everything our country, our state, our communities were built on. This is a violation of the Americans with Disabilities Act. You are setting up a scenario where those with exemptions that have health or medical conditions, religious beliefs, personal beliefs, and disabilities, and unvaccinated for the COVID vaccine are treated as second-class citizens, branded with a scarlet letter, which is a face covering, to stand out among all others. By the way, no mention of those who have already actually had COVID and recovered and have antibodies, T cells, or B cells for their natural immunity. We request that you stay in line with the guiding goals and strengthening our vision to close equity gaps and advance equity by not advising our community colleges to discriminate against staff and students. We request that you strike this discriminatory language from your advisory and resubmit to those it was originally sent out to. And what I'm referring to in the discriminatory language is, again, the clause that reads, For individuals claiming an exemption, the district will need to provide an individualized interactive process to identify appropriate accommodations, which involves adjustments to job duty, remote work or learning, isolation of individuals in campus locations, ventilation, limiting interactions, mask requirements, social distancing, testing, symptom reporting, and contact tracing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Debbie Klein. You have control of your mic and can address the board.
Good afternoon, President Haynes, Vice President Costa, Chancellor Oakley, and members of the board. I'm Debbie Klein, President of the Faculty Association of California Community Colleges. The recent audit of Calbright identified the Foundation for California Community Colleges' inappropriate role in handling many administrative functions and business operations for Calbright. Perhaps you all read that. This is of extraordinary concern to FAC. It is unacceptable that the foundation has provided these services for Calbright for 2 years without any transparency. Since this board provides an oversight role for the foundation, we respectfully request that you consider providing an update at the next board meeting on the foundation's progress addressing the audit's revelations. In the future, if the foundation is directed to do work by an individual college or the chancellor's office, it should be brought to the attention of the public and the community stakeholders. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Jim Mailer. You have control of your mic and can address the board. I see that you have unmuted yourself, but we cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, sorry, I don't know what's going on there. So good afternoon, board members and chancellor. I come before you to speak on the topic of Calbright. We've been opposed to Calbright, as you're all well aware. First of all, I should say who I am, right? Jim Mailer. I'm president of the Community College Council of the California Federation of Teachers. And we've been opposed to Calbright since its inception because it's a duplicative program that we can replicate easily in all of the existing community colleges. I think it's a gross misexpenditure of resources to keep pouring down, towards Calbright. And, the legislation that we currently are sponsoring, AB 1432, it passed the Assembly 71-0. The Senate is recommending that it be zeroed out of the budget. And I'm sure you're all aware that the auditor's report that just came out was not flattering in any way. So my question and ask for all of you is, we just can't figure out why the Board of Governors hasn't taken a stand to defund Calbright, redirect those resources to the districts that could really use them, and just call this experiment over. I understand most of you were appointed by Governor Brown, who's the strongest supporter of Calbright. I get it, we can connect those two dots, but I think it's time to call it a day and say that this never quite worked out as envisioned. The other colleges have shown clearly through the pandemic that they've been able to do everything online and to replicate all of the resources that Calbright claims to do. And we are now moving towards more what do I want to call that, content-based education that other districts are taking on as well. So we really see no need for the continuation of Calbright, and just curious in a rhetorical sense why the Board of Governors still has not taken a stand to move past this program and redirect those resources where they can be better used. Thank you.
Next, we have Denny Schultz-Alva. You have control of your microphone and can address the board. You know what, it appears that that user is using an older version of Zoom. So my options are to promote them to a panelist, which would allow them to talk, Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then I will remove that panelist function after they have spoken.
That's fine.
Thank you so much. I apologize that I have the older version. You were unable to unmute me. Thank you. My name is Dr. Dini Schultz-Alva, and I'm commenting on behalf of California Health Coalition Advocacy, also known as CHCA. CHCA has been overwhelmed by a high volume of outreach to us from concerned parents, students, and employees who oppose the board's proposal of mandating the COVID-19 vaccine for students. Students should be free to make their own decisions regarding medical interventions in consultation with their medical practitioners and without coercion. A COVID-19 vaccine requirement would violate basic human rights, including the right to body autonomy, and would also create discrimination based on vaccination status. For community college students, a COVID-19 vaccine requirement might preclude them from enrolling, further contributing to declining community college enrollment in California. So California Health Coalition Advocacy strongly urges you to abandon any policy that mandates a COVID-19 vaccine. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you.
Next, we have Norma Godinez. You have control of your mic and can address the board.
Hi, my name is Norma Godinez, and I have a 15-year-old, which will be graduating in about 2 years. And I don't believe these vaccines should be mandated. For one, it's not a cure. Two, Dr. Fauci had stated on an interview with Eugenio Derbez, who is a Mexican comedian, stated that, you know, it's not a cure, for one, and you can still get COVID even after you get vaccinated. So there's really no reason to sit here and mandate these vaccines for everyone, especially if you actually have had COVID already, which my whole family has had COVID and we've recovered. Actually, Dr. Ben Edwards at the Senate Texas Committee had stated that most people get a very robust immune when they get COVID, they recover. Their immune system works so well that if you are actually go ahead and inject these vaccines, what happens is that you actually can cause a cytokine storm, which is a very bad inflammation in the body, which that's maybe some of the people that have reported some adverse side effects. If you think about it, that might be it. We all should have a choice in this. Again, it's not a cure. For those that want to follow the CDC guidelines, they can, and it is their right to go ahead and do so. Again, they're guidelines. It's not a law. And again, many, actually, Dr. Rand Paul, congressman from Kentucky, had stated that there's been about 32 million people that have actually had COVID and recovered from it. So there is natural immunity. For those that want the vaccine, it's there. It's there, and they can and should take it if that's what they want, but that's on a personal basis. You cannot sit here and mandate something that, again, it's not a cure. And there are some side effects. I know many people that have said, you know what, I'm going to wait to see some of the if there's any long-term side effects from this. Half of my family has already been, well, actually half of my husband's family have already been vaccinated, and they're fine, and that's great, but that's
30 seconds.
So again, I have a 15-year-old who will be deciding on where she goes to college. It's going to be very difficult if these vaccines are mandated, since we personally as a family do not want these vaccines. Many have, like I said, have said that they'll wait to see what the long-term side effects are. And many have already got it. And you know what, they're fine with it. It's a personal choice. They should not be mandated, especially not.
Thank you, Norma, for your comment. That is time.
All right, thank you.
There are no other public comments at this time.
Thank you so much for those comments. We'll certainly take them under advisement. And with that, completes our business. And we did it before 1 o'clock. So thank you so much. This has been a very worthwhile grouping of meetings, and I'll see you when I see you, y'all.
Thank you so much for joining us. This concludes the meeting of the Board of Governors.